open up my mind. Think that you're so dull and dry, but baby girl, you shine. Hey now, look around, everybody see what's going down. You're an artist and I love you from your head to your toes. You're different and you're perfect to me. I said, hey now. I said, hey now, look around, everybody see what's going down. Hey, it was good sex. You're an artist and I love you from your head to your toes. You're different and you're perfect to me. Teleported over the 10 tails for a TBB. 10 tails. 10. Flicks it back. Flicks it back at B. On a first streak? You are on a first streak. It's been lovely, man. How was your Christmas, Six? How you doing, man? Let's see. So, how was the holidays for you, man? How were they? How do you feel? How are you doing? My Christmas was great. I had a lot of fun with the family. Lovely. That's lovely. I did some I went to my girlfriend's family's like function. Pretty small, all things considered, but it was nice. We had a lot of fun. I played Mortal Kombat 1, the reboot game, the most recent one to come out. That game was trash. The movement felt terrible. I won my match, and then I put down the controller and said, "You're holding this L, little bro. I'm not playing this shit ever again." I'm gonna have 100% win rate when it comes to. I'm gonna have 100% win rate when it comes to Mortal Kombat 1. I'm dying with 100% win rate. What do you want me to tell you? I'm crying. Okay. All right. So, 1 second. Flicks it back at B, and he suffers massive damage. Okay. Give me 1 second. I didn't like Mortal Kombat 1 at all. I used to be a Mortal Kombat fan, but the game made me not play the franchise anymore. I don't think a single game should stop you from playing an entire franchise unless like it's really, really, really fucking bad. I mean, you probably got your reasons. I'm not really gonna pry on it too much. I've only played Mortal Kombat a few times in my life. I think the last real time I played it was like almost a decade ago. I think it was like Mortal Kombat X. Or 10, or whatever the fuck it was. I remember I played it on like the PlayStation 4. Good luck. Fighting games always suck. Fighting games don't always suck. Even like I'm not a good fighting game player. I've never been good at them. Besides like maybe the Naruto Storm games. And maybe like Smash Brothers. Though Smash Brothers is more of like a platform fighter, kind of on its own thing. Street Fighter was king as a kid. Yeah, Street Fighter is a very good franchise. It's just I think my issue with like these games is that like I don't know like the fundamentals. I understand like the motions that you have to do. I can make a fireball consistently. I can do Tatsumaki, Senpukyaku. I can do like the dragon punches, but I can't do. But like I don't know. It's when like you have to like do all of these things while also while also pressing like buttons in specific orders and stuff that I just can't do, man. It's like you have to press like forward square plus you have to play this like forward square, but then you have to press it and like time it perfectly so you can link it into like another fucking punch, and then you can't like spam it, so you have to like perfectly time it to link it, and then you have to like do a whole motion move in the middle of that, and then they're asking you to do like 5 precise motion moves and all that shit. That's skill-based stuff. Fighting games are the highest skill-based games of all time in my opinion. But, like, man, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, it's just a level of execution that I'm just not ready for. I'm personally just not there. I mean, the ones like Smash for the Wii U looking best isn't as good as the less pretty ones like Melee. Is that even about how it looks, in my opinion? What did you get for Christmas? I got Lies of P and Expedition 33. Good luck with both of those. I had a good Christmas. I had a good holiday. I hope everybody else is having a good one as well. I wouldn't say like I suck at fighting games. Like if I'm playing against somebody who doesn't also know how to play, I probably have an advantage because like I figure out, like once I figure out a good move, I just stick to it. When I played Tekken 8 with my friend, I played Tekken 8 with my girlfriend on our date weekend, and I completely destroyed her with Kuma just because I kept spamming the square button where I kept just like launching her, and I told her, block, just block, learn how to beat this, block. I'm just gonna keep doing this until you block. She eventually learned how to block, and then I just started using another move, and then she just didn't know what to do again. It's so fun. You jump around a lot. It depends on the fight. It depends on the fighting game. Whatever fighting game you're playing, it doesn't matter like what fighting game you're playing, depending on which one it is. Like, well, I guess it does matter. Like, jumping is not always great. As a matter of fact, sometimes like jumping isn't even like a viable strategy because like if the other person just knows how to do like a dragon punch, you're fucked. The execution is not the hardest part in fighting games. The hard part is that there is designed where you have to be more annoying than your opponents. I don't agree with that. I don't agree that you have to be more annoying than your opponent. I think that the issue with fighting game is, one, the execution, because you have to be able to essentially get, like, depending on the fighting game, obviously, some fighting games require more of, like, in my opinion at least, some fighting games, like, require more, like, heavy execution. Some fighting games don't require as much execution, but you still need some kind of, like, precise input. The thing about fighting games a lot of the times is like there's a lot of moves, and a lot of the times many of the moves are going to be necessary, and it's just learning which ones are good, which ones are bad, and just like memorizing like when to and when not to use it. It's a very big curve to like really learn how to like do everything when you need to do it. I remember when I got Street Fighter 6, because I ended up buying it, and I was trying to like play the ranked mode. I think I got up to like silver. I don't think I ever made it to gold. I think I got it to like silver, and I was like, dude, I know that I have to do a Shoryuken or like an anti-air when they jump, but it's like, man, it just sucks because like I keep getting hit every single time. You know what I mean? It's very discouraging. You have to have a certain mentality with fighting games, and it's just, I don't know, man. I just don't have the mentality for it. I hate losing, especially. I hate losing, and especially hate losing online to other people. I'm fine with losing to like friends and stuff. I hate playing against another person, especially when like they download you and they just basically like they've basically accustomed you. Let me slow down. With fighting games, there's also like a mental games that go into it. So when like a person basically like has you almost like in a bind where like they've conditioned you to do certain things, and like when they press a button and you're like, okay, well they're gonna do this, so I do that. They just fuck with you from there on out. It's super fucking annoying, and I hate every aspect of it. But it is a part of it. Which is I guess why I don't stick to them too much. Hey, what's up, TZ? Dragon Ball FighterZ was fun, but the skill level required is pretty high. Dragon Ball FighterZ, I thought, wasn't that bad. It's more so just understanding when to do what, if that makes sense. It's more so understanding when to do what. Like, there are certain like, for example, you have... When somebody like dashes towards you with the super dash, you have to press like down and circle to like knock them up. You have to do like these like specific jumps where like when you're hitting somebody with like an aerial combo, if you press up and forward diagonally in form of a jump while also doing the combo. I never understood the timing for it, but I did like I was able to pull it off in controller years ago. You were able to like extend the combo a bit much, then you knock them down, and then like you usually have to understand like what your assist does and when to use it specifically, so that way you can continue carrying a combo. What was your main in fighters? My mains were, when the game first came out, Goku Black, Frieza, and I was always swapping out between like Hit, SS, Blue, Goku, and Vegeta, just because I was watching Maximilian play. Maximilian Dude play. Have you played Smash? I played Smash. I would say that I'm much better at Smash than I am at any other fighting game, although I don't really consider Smash a fighting game. And if I had to be honest, I would say that like I'm probably better than the average person. Like at my best, I am probably better than like if somebody plays very casually with their friends, I can probably beat them rather easily. If somebody plays like actually competitive and knows like long strings with like characters or whatever, I'm probably fucked. Have you seen both Moist Critical and Speed called Mihawk a fraud? Nope, I haven't checked it out. Usually when it comes to like videos from people that are like very, very casual anime fans, I usually take everything that they say with like the tiniest grain of salt. Doesn't really I don't know. Content from like very casual people in terms of like anime stuff is usually something I just genuinely do not care for. Not to say that it's bad or anything, just to say that like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel like I feel like sometimes people have takes that, like, are completely invalidated by actually reading through the story. Not saying that that's their take, just saying that, like, in general, I've seen this a lot for people. Your favorite shadow doppelganger jutsu. It may be a forbidden high-level ninjutsu, but just upping the numbers of losers won't. I'm not a loser. Don't, Naruto. It's meaningless to create shadow doppelgangers, though that'll split up even more of your chakra. They might be useful as a diversion, but not as a decisive hits. And if you go down, we'll lose this war. You were always just a motley crew. Anyway, motley crew, you are useless. He's saying it's pointless to merely increase the number of heads if they're all empty. You are useless. You and I are both powerless shinobi. Everyone shall eventually just end up like me. I will never end up like you. How many times have I told you? My dream is to become Hokage. No worries, things will go as planned. There is no shinobi jutsu mightier than the infinite Tsukuyomi. I'll make you Hokage inside this jutsu. So just disappear along with the rest of the world. He missed deliberately. Okay. Sorry to keep you waiting. Let me see. Where are we at right now? Okay, so we just need up to 20, and then from 20 onward, we're good. I think Lapis got everything else from 20 onward. Lovely. Okay, so yeah, we should be good. Except for my agenda, what do you really think about Shanks? I don't have an opinion on it yet. I haven't seen them fight. I say this all the time. If I haven't seen them fight, if I haven't seen them do anything, I'd just rather not even have an opinion on it. Naruto is low-key buns. I wouldn't say that Naruto is low-key buns. I wouldn't say that. What do you say about Sabo? Most Critical had the most Google AI chat GPT takes on Sabo with the slightest reading comprehension. They fall apart. That's crazy. I love Melee, but all the pro get their hands wrecked, so I'm afraid. If you want to play Melee, you can totally do that. You can also just play Melee non-competitively. You can learn to do all the crazy shit without having to play competitively. I think it's more or less of an issue of, like, these guys playing Melee for so many fucking hours. It's definitely a fighting game. The difference is defensive options are stronger and corners are replaced. I wouldn't call it at least a traditional fighting game in the same way that I wouldn't call Naruto Storm 4 a traditional fighting game. I don't know. The water sensory maintaining its original shape. Won't maintain its original shape. We better. First company has arrived. Second company. Third company. Fourth company. Fifth company. Medical unit. Sensory unit has arrived. Wind style. Gust. Ten Tails sends a shockwave. 10 sends a shockwave with one tail that is stopped by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is stopped by 15 wind style users. He wasn't wrong about Sabo at all. You really have to suspend your disbelief. Hey, what's up, Nothingness? I can put up the video. I haven't seen it yet. Is that should I put up the video just to listen to it on the side? Should I react to Moist Critical Mihawk video? How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's had a wonderful holiday, wonderful time off. Merry Christmas. Just a nice little time all around, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are doing well. Ace always had the tattoo. One Piece haters are so lame. Found it weird that they made Dust purple in the manga. It's probably just like the dust being... It's probably just because it's night. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Aster? It's just because it's night. It's a video about his experience with One Piece. His takes are not great, but it's entertaining. Has become a sellout fan? What is a sellout fan? Do you mean the clip calls Mihawk a fraud? I don't know. I know that they made some content about it. How was he not well known? Why lie? Everybody knew Sabo as soon as they saw him in Dressrosa. Moist had a pretty chill critique. Most issues come from the anime, though. That's fair. Let you know, that's a bit of a stretch, no. We're gonna stop you two with this jutsu wrong. You don't realize that it's meaningless for you to stop us here. This jutsu of yours will crumble to dust after the war, then someone on your side will eventually attempt what we're doing. There is no victory no matter how much you struggle. Get it into your head already. There's no such thing as hope anywhere in this world. He is a nihilist. I don't care. I'm gonna say there is. It's meaningless to argue whether there is or isn't something during a war. How about we get to settling things? Well, that's the difference of opinion. It isn't the usual way majority rule. Well, nice thought. So we'll call it after we've erased all of you. And then I guess I should have expected that, but this world ain't gonna end. Will end. Good job buying us time, Naruto. Was there enough time to come up with a plan? Thanks, so I'll be able to relay it to everyone. Kakashi told us the mask guy, but there's no time to be shocked. This fight, we need to take advantage to maintain the upper hand and give the opportunity to counter. Okay, from the intel we got, our enemies boast impressive eyes. So first, impede their movements by destroying their vision. Okay, Laser Circus, Shinobi Alliance Jutsu, Shinobi Alliance Jutsu gets to work. Flash Pillar and Laser Circus are used in conjunction to blind and hit 10. Miss Critical's afraid to give any opinion, just following most normies for more views. I don't know if I would I don't know how I feel about that, because it's like, is it really like a bad thing to have? I know what you mean by this, right? He has like very safe takes or whatever, but it's like, is it really a bad thing to also, I don't know about it. I don't know if it's really, if he doesn't really give his opinion. I've seen a couple of more of his videos throughout the year. He seems to just have pretty reasonable takes in general. Like, I feel like the reason why people watch him is because he seems to just have very, like I said, just very reasonable, normal takes. If Naruto came out today, what character would receive the Still Sakura? Yeah, 100% Still Sakura. Nobody wants to have a character, especially a main female lead, not do anything for the first 235 chapters of the story. Absolutely nothing of value for the first 235 chapters of your story, just to then only have her do something for the next arc, maybe arc and a half, just to then do nothing until the final arc? Come on, that's not good character writing. Like, that's just not good character writing. Especially nowadays that we're more aware of, like, what you should and shouldn't do in specific situations. Especially with, like, the whole situation with, like, her trying to manipulate Naruto with his romantic feelings for her. Yeah, no, I think she would get absolutely shit on. I think she would absolutely get shit on. Obviously, Naru fraud, always sucking chakra from the frogs and make the story lamer whenever he's on screen. I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that. Luffy doesn't know Dragon, but Nami and Usopp knew him despite him knowing the chief. Nobody knows the chief of staff. Garp didn't know. He met Sabo, and Sabo had a bounty. As someone who played a lot back in the Tekken 6 days and actually bothered to learn the fundamentals and some frame data, I can tell you if you're spamming jabs at your girlfriend, blocking isn't correct. I'm not spamming jabs. I'm definitely not spamming jabs, or at least I'm doing like Kuma's like square 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 combo, where he just swings his arm up and down and he just like basically flips you up. It's like, it's literally a true combo. I'm being honest here. It's literally a true combo, at least in Tekken 8, for the first knock up into then just smacking them again. It's not good damage, but I'm telling you straight up, like, even against my friends, like, the ones that like know how to play Tekken, even they were having trouble like learning how to block it at first when we first started playing Tekken 8. I'm not saying that it's a good strategy. As a matter of fact, I get punished most of the time by just the other person blocking, but yeah, it's pretty good. What's up, Gabby? Gabby Maffei. Oh, cool name. You're just ignoring the point. It doesn't disprove anything. Ace and Luffy don't read the newspaper and are consistently don't know figures that they should know. Since jabs leave you at a +1 on block and you the fastest move, or the fastest move, even on block, you won't hit first after the block. The right move is to duck and either jab or whiff punish. Oh, I get what you mean. I really think the issue with Sakura was bad parenting. I mean, bad parenting, uselessness for the first 235 chapters, not doing anything for, like, the vast majority of Shippuden for, like, another 200 chapters. Like, listen, we can point out, like, 50 fucking different things. Nobody in Naruto is as fraudulent as Megumi. Megumi isn't a fraud. The problem with Megumi is mentality. We had this discussion before. Which is better written and more powerful, Bleach or Naruto? Naruto's better written than Bleach, and I would argue Naruto's more powerful just because I hate Bleach. But that one's just me being completely fucking biased against Bleach. If we're talking, like, more powerful, I guess I could give it a Bleach. Though, they don't really have any, like, good destruction feats. Besides, I guess, Lanza del Relampago. How can Ace never have heard Chase was stabbed his Whitebeard's ship? Why did Garp not tell Luffy? I don't know, because they didn't. I don't get the hate for Naruto. I'm not reading the newspaper isn't enough. That's why I said suspend your disbelief. Simple. Sabo rose to position after remembering Ace. Did she ever make a comeback? Who make a comeback? If you're talking Sakura, no, she never really makes a comeback. I guess if you want to say her punching Kaguya in the back of the head or helping out Obito's a comeback, I guess, sure. I guess she did something. She put that big-ass forehead of hers into use. That's what you have to assume, Kuma. And then Blue Knight doesn't get the newspaper. Sakura or Rukia. I would choose Rukia, and I would choose Rukia more as, like, a better character, but, like, I mean, Rukia also doesn't really do jack shit. My final consensus that KCM2 Naruto's mountain to country level tops. I don't know about country level. Maybe with, like, the full power of the Nine Tails, but yeah, I think that's a fair take. I think that's fair. Did heal the fodders in the war, though. Yeah, but who gives a shit about fodders in the war, especially when Naruto gave him cloaks? I feel like people forget that Naruto literally does what she does, but better. How many, like, let me show you guys something. I downloaded this earlier last week. I downloaded this, like, a little bit earlier, actually this week, not even last week, this week. Let's see. So you see here? You see how Kakashi got, like, slashed up by Obito and he's also, like, super tired? Kakashi's essentially, like, almost out of chakra by this point. He can barely get up. Naruto gives him a hand. Goes through. He's completely fine right now. Kakashi starts to heal up. When Naruto gives like the Shinobi Alliance a cloak later, the cloak literally heals people. Is it just me or Naruto? Does Naruto look chopped in Boruto? You wouldn't be wrong about that. I think everybody agrees that, like, Naruto's hair choice was not the best. I don't mind it as much, but I don't think it's best. You think Baryon mode is bad? I do. I think Baryon mode is a terrible transformation, at least as far as, like, people arguing it for, like, versus battle purposes. For versus battle purposes, it's a dogshit transformation. It doesn't do anything for Naruto. The only time that Naruto's Baryon mode would be effective in any situation that wasn't specifically the one. The Kyuubi chakra put Sakura in the dust. Sakura got one thing going for her and was healing, and Naruto really did that better than her. That's what I'm saying. Why should I give Sakura any kind of credit for any fucking reason? If you complete the jab string, then it should be punishable. That's why you don't complete strings unless you're punishing or have a hit confirmed to strike. I'm gonna be real with you, Drachno. I'm gonna be so real with you. I do not plan on ever playing Tekken in any remote way of like a competent way. I know some combos. I know how to do some stuff. If I can land a hit, I usually know, like, what button to press right afterwards. It's not gonna be anything impressive, but, like, I don't know, man. Tekken is one of those games where, like, you just have to have, like, a certain mentality about, like, how to do every single thing about it. Like, a lot of other fighting games, it's just not for me. What's up, Jules? Yeah. Sabo. At least Sakura tried her best. Naruto never ever trained What do you mean he never trained properly? That's just fucking true. I don't know. No. I don't believe that. I will never agree with someone saying that, like, well, Sakura, she also tried really hard. She busted her. I will never agree to the notion that Sakura busted her ass even remotely as hard as Naruto. The only thing you could ever give Sakura is that she was focusing chakra on her forehead for 3 years, and that's it. If we're talking training, she only trained once, and that was during the 2-year time skip, and Naruto was also training. He was literally also training when he had to learn the Rasen Shuriken, when he had to learn Sage Mode, when he had to fucking fight Kurama. Prior to fighting Kurama in the Land of Iron, he also had to train to use the Ninetales Chakra with B on the island. Like, nah, man, I can't agree with that. I genuinely cannot agree with that. I'll be back. I don't like losing 70% of my health to a 3-way guess unreactable grab. That's also a thing that happens in Tag Team. No, Sakura is not dead. Unfortunately. I'll be back, guys. I'm gonna go get some water. Hey, what's up, Memento? How you doing? All the plot holes for Sabo can be easily explained. The worst of Naruto's form. What's up, Memento? On healing instead. I mean, she could always learn how to use chakra natures. Apparently, she's got chakra natures with the jutsu, with the 2 jutsu from the bit earlier, Kyogakuri's Mist and the Gemming Beetles, plus the large volume of airborne dust stirred up by the Ryan tone just now. Wind-style current dance will not just destroy their vision completely, but thwart them from even sensing us at all. And since their sheer bulk prevents them from hiding, we'll be able to take full advantage. We've only revealed our jutsu to him a short while ago, and he's already incorporating them into a battle plan. Lead it to Shikamaru's old man, I guess, like father, like son. Nice. This makes it impossible to sense them. I'll just mow them down with 10 tails attacks. Okay. Shinobi Alliance, take 10. They also use wind and insects to gem sensory capabilities. Bugs have chakra. Oh, this panel right here. Ooh, this panel. Oh my god, this panel right here. This shit basically proves even insects have fucking chakra. Oh, no. I think, okay, so let me go back to Baryon mode real quick. Baryon mode does not have bad writing. It is a bad form for cross-verse fighting, is what I mean. It is a bad form specifically for cross-verse fighting. From a narrative perspective, I think it's fine. From a written perspective, I think it's a fine transformation. I don't think there's any real issues with it. I think that for the context that people like to bring up Baryon mode, which is from the point that we're talking about Baryon mode, which I mean is just cross-verse fights, it is a dog-ass transformation. The reason why I say it is a terrible transformation for cross-verse fights specifically is because Naruto has, if we're talking manga, 5 to 10 punches and kicks max before he lowers. You don't need a panel to state all living things. I know that, but listen, people. Okay, guys, I need you to understand something. It doesn't matter if I use a single panel from Boruto to say all living things have chakra. If I can show a literal panel that also shows that insects have chakra inside of them, then that basically allows me to solidify the point. It's more damning, is what I'm saying. It is more damning. It's a good panel to have. Insects have, bugs have chakra. 6, 12. Okay. I mean, Baryon mode has crazy drawbacks for Naruto and Cross unless you scale Naruto's speed to MFTL, and I have no reason to do that. There's no reason to fucking do that. Big and bad, foreshadowing Kurama's relationship with Naruto. People say, oh, Gear 5 has bad stamina. Let her forget that it's still not as bad. He can fight for like 20 minutes for a bit. It's not even 5 minutes. You can't argue even like 5 minutes for Baryon mode because unless you're arguing that Naruto only lands 5 hits in 5 minutes. You can't even argue 5 minutes for Baryon mode. The faster Naruto is, don't they say that those are special insects? And Aster, I've been reading through the story the entire fucking time. They never even remotely has come across. I have read every single chapter up until now, and besides the fact that I've barely seen Shino at all, yeah, I don't recall anything like that. After taking away their senses, now we rob them of their freedom. Okay. As soon as we drop the 10 tails, pour in the quick slime. Okay, water bomb jutsu and water fill up the pit. Okay. Gem sensory capabilities. They also immobilize it. Someone tried to say that that the drain is a counter to Gear 5. No, it's not. It doesn't drain. It doesn't make you lose stamina. It makes you lose life force. And it only work. And either way, Baryon mode would only really work against like a single person that is about to die. I've been enjoying where One Piece has been getting. We are gathering information for Naruto versus Luffy. Alright, I'm not going to add any of this after the quick slime and the water together. Agitating the quick lime and water together and dry it to force the katon. Okay. Force of katon. Okay. Majestic flame jutsu. Cool. Actually drains chakra specifically too. Stamina and mental energy swirl in the stomach. That area in the body is called chakra reserves. Still gives Naruto a pretty big... It does offer a pretty big stat increase, but again, you have to consider how long he really has. Either 5 to 10 hits. If he cannot finish a fight in 5 to 10 hits, Naruto always loses. If he needs if you're gonna say like, okay, let's put it like this. Baryon mode is not inherently a bad transformation. However, if Naruto is fighting against an opponent that A, is vastly stronger than his base form to the point that you have to argue he needs Baryon mode. B, the opponent does not have about 3 days left about 3 days left worth of lifespan. And 3, if you can't argue that the amp Naruto gets, which again, I totally agree, it is a very big stat amp. If you cannot argue that with the stat amp, Naruto can't beat the person within 5 to 10 hits, he always loses. Oh no, he's never going to land the 5 hits. He's never going to land them, but also Naruto needs to also... Oh, and 4... Naruto needs to stay completely calm and composed during the entire thing. He can't even have superfluous thoughts. He has to stay completely... He has to stay completely calm, composed. He can't really have superfluous thoughts, and he really can't waste movements. If he's fighting against someone like Luffy that is constantly changing the battlefield around them and doing things he's never seen before, how is it supposed to be of any effect? What's Mutt? Does Naruto have Mutt? What's that? No shot when Luffy has future sight. Let it set and presto immobilized. Unbelievable. A shinobi line. Show me from 5 villages. Could work so cooperatively. To be fair, he couldn't use ninjutsu in that fight. Only punches worked on Ishiki. Yeah. Like I said, it's not that I think the transformation is bad from like a story or narrative sense. I just think the transformation is dog shit. If we're talking like a... Does Naruto have murderous intent? Probably. I don't really think he does. Do you know what made Baryon mode suck life of the ops? Like, is it chakra draining? It's not chakra draining. It's basically like a brand new type of energy that's created from smashing his and Kurama's chakra to create a brand new type of energy. The energy essentially drains, you could say, the opponent's lifespan. Naruto can drain your lifespan, but again, 5 to 10 hits, if we're going by the manga. He lands more in the anime, and you could argue it lasts a little bit longer in the anime, but the issue with the anime version is that even if you can argue he can make a Rasengan, that Rasengan is still using up most of that energy. So Naruto, you can't really argue that like Naruto, most of his punches at that point, they would also take away less life force than anything. I have noticed when reading Wano, Gear 5 Luffy has stunt character like in a gag, but seriously, it's consistently happening to the characters like Kaido and Kizaru, which is crazy because of the anime or even the game stunts. In the game, stunt is every broken technique. I don't know what you mean by this. I don't know what you mean by that, Ligma. I have something that I think I would chakra related. I think would say it's chakra related. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's chakra related regardless. Like, if he could take away his opponent's lifespan, I think that's a good enough hacks to give Naruto. I think that's fine. It's just, again, how many punches do you think Naruto would have to land to take away somebody's lifespan from like a year? You know what I mean? Without immobilizing 10 tails. As a matter of fact, let's see, 365. Let's see something. Let's pull up a calculator real quick. What the fuck? No, I don't want paint. Give me a calculator. Okay. 365 divided by what are you gonna do here? Like 5. You know what? 10 punch. Oh wait, actually, no. Let's do it like this. 3 days is 72 hours, right? How many hours are in a year, right? 3 days is about 72 hours, right? How many hours in a year? Okay, 8,760 hours. Okay, so we have 8,760 hours, right? Naruto's punches dealt 72, let's say divided by 10 punches at most, so each punch deals like 7.2, right? Yeah, each punch deals like damage of around, like, let's say 7.2. Like, it rips out like 7.2 hours or some shit, right? So let's do 8760 divided by... Oh. 8760 divided by 7.2. Let's see how many punches Naruto would have to land. Naruto would have to land, in Baryon mode, 1,216 punches in order to actually, like, lower down somebody's lifespan in a year. I don't think he's landing that many punches in Baryon mode. So yeah, if you want to say that he'd last, I'm not going to tell you it's only 2 minutes, but like, if you wanted to say that like Baryon mode only lasts 2 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever, he still needs to land like over 1,000 punches in order to drain somebody's life even an hour. Sorry, to down like less than an hour. What's up, Jeff? Hope you've been doing good. Lovely. Got some merch from your siblings. Lovely. Love to hear that. Baryon mode would be slightly better if it extended arm sting or the 9 tails for range hits. I think that'd be cool. Did Naruto kill Kurama? Or can it be debated? I don't really think Naruto killed him. I think Kurama kind of let himself die. I found the French translation for Gyutsu being 10 times out is false, and Naruto is false. And Naruto One Piece Hero said it didn't bother checking even though he got it to be 10 times without it, and I didn't. I mean, I don't know how you get second gear to be a 10 times amp without it, but sure. Also, using ninjutsu and Baryon mode would make it drain faster, and I believe Ishiki had like 20 hours left. I don't know if it was 20 hours or if it was 72. If it's 20 hours, that's even worse. That's like actually worse. Gonna buy Dispatch today. We'll see if my garbage laptop can handle the graphics. I bought Digimon Time Strangers and I ended up buying Yuka Replaylay. I ended up getting Yuka Replaylay. I probably should have gotten Astrobot, but it's a fun game. Kurama technically didn't die. No, he died. He just got reborn somewhere else. Tailed beasts are like constants. Are like these constant forces within the context of the verse. Once they die, they just come back. Eventually. What is also interesting that it doesn't increase his physical strength, as Iziki stated, the force of his punches isn't the problem. Yeah. To them, Ten Tails is a tool to aid in activating their jutsu. If we take down those two casters and the infantry can be launched. However, it's best to assume Ten Tails' powers cannot be suppressed for long. Only physical attacks work on Madara, so Shinobi with taijutsu skills go after him. Obito can slip through all moves and jutsu, but according to the intel, that only lasts 5 minutes, so work with the medical unit and continuously attack him past 5 minutes. Naruto, that's the time for your allied Shinobi jutsu. Oh, this is how pitiful. Team of Ten Tails is ready. Exactly as planned. Take these two downs who are acting as a Ten Tails brain. They say that Madara can only be attacked with taijutsu, but doesn't Obito also just straight up have chart ninjutsu absorption? What's stopping him from just doing that? Yeah, that is what I hate about Baryon mode. How little life force Baryon mode consumes makes it feel both convenient and underwhelming for a transformation with such extreme drawbacks. That's what I'm saying. Like, from a narrative perspective, I don't think it's bad. But like Zoro versus Sasuke next at 20k, I could do Zoro versus Sasuke whenever. I can finally play Spider-Man again, and I have so much nostalgia for this game. I remember literally every scene. It's such a good game. Spider-Man for PS4 is such a good game. I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like Baryon mode is one of those situations that like you genuinely just have to sit there and believe that like the form is more impressive than it actually is once like the initial I guess you could say honeymoon phase of it has ended a long time ago. I think of Sanji equals Zoro statement that came. I think it's fine. I don't have no issue with it. I think the only people that have an issue with it are the people that for whatever reason have a Zoro or anti-Sanji agenda. It's fine. One interesting thing is that many Naruto power skills try to get him as high as possible and abandoning simple logic. You can imagine Fishman pill things where in Naruto they would wank the hell out of it. I believe it. What do you think about Rivals? Marvel Rivals? I think it's a fun game. Thought we had more mobilized the Ten Tails. Okay, Ten Tails transforms. Let's see. The Ten Tails transforms. 10 transforms. Into its second phase. Let's see. My shoulder's dislocated. Naruto's second phase. Naruto's shoulder gets dislocated. By the way, guys, I'm only going to be streaming. Astrobot is free. It is not free. Astro's Playroom is free. Astrobot is not free. By the way, guys, I'm only going to be streaming until 5 p.m. So we got like about 4 hours. Let's see how much we can get through in that time. It's practically like a small planet. Small planet statement is made. Okay. Ian, will you be doing some gaming content after you complete? Yeah, I'll be doing some gaming content specifically for like Black Myth Wukong, potentially Expedition 33, games like that. Stated that your opponents are equal. If it's stated all their opponents are equal, then Lucci equals Nezjuro. Lucci upscale. That would technically make Lucci also stronger than Kizaru. I hate Astrobot, bro. Wukong deserved it. I think Wukong deserved it too, but hey, you can't really beat a game that's essentially the entirety of PlayStation's catalog put into one fucking game. I don't know if you can really beat that. So we didn't immobilize the Ten Tails after all. It merely stopped moving on its own in order to amass power and undergo transformations. However, we were going to be able to stop it. We can target those two. The medical corpse, hurry. I'm going to pee my pants. Many ninjas are hurt from the transformation. Many shinobi are hurt from its transformation. Sure. It's too many damn GB. Wukong is too many damn what? Oh, gigabytes. Fuck that game. Damn. Skill issue. Actual skill issue. I recently watched a video where the guy said Hashirama puts a good fight with post Godtree Jubidara. The amount of glaze Hashirama gets is unreal. I mean, is it as much glaze as you saying that Itachi is above Ten Tails Madara or Kaguya? Isn't that about the same level of glaze? Promo magazines also have Jozu atop one of the verse. Jozu upscale. I guess so. Don't forget Jubito's world erasing statement, the Sword of Nunoboko. I don't think that it actually erases the world, but sure. I'll take that. I'll take that statement about as seriously as I'll take Madara having a blade that can cut all things in the universe. Yeah, Kaguya had so much more chakra than Naruto and Sasuke, and yet she was really barely, like, overpowering them. Like, not to say that she wasn't, but it was like, the difference wasn't so massive either compared to, like, how much chakra Naruto or even Sasuke by comparison had. Butterfly black chocolate, by the way. I don't know what you're talking about. We gotta stop that thing, or else it's all over for us. We gotta freak. We need more. We need more chakra. Be prepared to move so we can plan. We must immobilize the ten tails, or else we can't go after the brains that are manipulating it. But how? Even with the jutsu of the clan, who specialize in immobilizing, the effect would be minuscule compared to the amount of chakra expended. You know, Ichi linked me with Kakashi, Raja Kakashi. There's something regarding the intel from the last battle sequence. Did Sasuke lose aura in Boruto? I don't think so. I just think people expect Sasuke to be this angry dude in Boruto, and I don't see that. It's going to start getting more difficult to control the Ten Tails. Reinforce your bond with it using Hashirama cells. Don't you want to check out the Ten Tails' power in its current state first? Let's show that bunch despair. The Uchiha really were a fucking problem. Yeah, I heard some stuff about the Black Clover chapters not being that, or like people having issues with it, but I don't personally care what like other people think about it, about a manga. People were complaining about the Black Clover manga, sorry, not Black Clover, JJK manga or the My Hero manga like ending the way that they ended, and I'm just like, is it really that bad? Is it really that terrible? Like, are the endings, like, no, I feel like people really just built up an ending inside their heads and were disappointed when like it wasn't exactly what they thought it would be. I don't know, man. But Itachi does beat Jiraiya. Jokes aside, the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that Hashirama and Madara were much closer than people think. They were very close. I don't know why people say that, like, Hashirama was so far above Madara, it wasn't even a remote, like, it wasn't even, like, a remotely close for Madara. Like, you look at the fight, Hashirama had more damage physically on him than Madara did, and Madara wasn't even covered in, like, burns or scratches as much as Hashirama. Hashirama also has, like, a healing factor. Where would you scale Kaguya, in your opinion? Planetary. I'm putting Kaguya at, like, planetary, and I have no reason to put her anything above that. At least the ending should wrap up the main theme. Only Jujutsu did that well. Yeah, I think Jujutsu did a very good... I think Jujutsu Kaisen had a very good ending. People just didn't... I don't know what exactly people were waiting for. And I'm with you, Six. I'm willing to think about it optimistically. I don't know why people are having issues with it. It's unbelievable. Okay, my Kamui won't be done in time. Displace it upwards using Earth-style jutsu. Ten Tails, cone-shaped tailed beast bomb creates Ten's cone-shaped TBB. Creates a massive explosion. This is like a country level explosion. This is certainly like a country level explosion. Because the Ten Tails isn't as big as people think it is. It's not even a kilometer big. I don't know about the ending. I don't know what... I don't know. I've just been hearing people say bad shit about it. The Ten Tails isn't that big itself. Yeah, I would say it's probably like a country. Yeah, I'd say this is probably like a country, right? Yeah, I'd say that's probably like a country. That far away, it's much greater than the previous Bijus. What power? It's wobbly from just a little counter. Its control isn't perfect yet. Next. Hey, what's up? Hot take, I don't know why people like Sasuke, was super bratty, literally the whole show, acted very rude and never liked him much. I don't get why people like him so much, because he's cool. It's really just that. I would put it on Goku just because the cosmology of Dragon Ball is way larger than the cosmology of One Punch Man. I don't really... Yeah, no spoilers for Black Clover from anyone. Sixes doesn't like spoilers, and I definitely am not going to tolerate any spoilers myself. Reaches the cloud and cloud altitude. Okay, I don't care how tall it reaches. Tell me how big this is tell me how big this actually is in terms of the context of the story. Yeah. It's been acting weird for the last while, so it keeps aiming afar, so all cities and people are within its range of fire. Then evacuate Daimyo, everyone protecting the villages plus all the citizens aren't safe. So all cities and people are within its range, yeah. Will you consider the Gear 5 stun ability? What stun ability does Gear 5 have? It can work on Kaido and Kizaru. What about Luffy doing the stamina reset to himself? And which Naruto are you going to be doing in the... Every Naruto up until the first 700 chapters. What's the document for? So I can, like, do a back and forth between the different versions of Naruto and Luffy I'm going to be talking about. In order for Saitama to be as strong as Goku, you have to actually quantify him to be several millions of times over Universal. And I can literally get him to several millions of times over Universal based on Super Saiyan transformations. Because we actually have multipliers for them. Is there a statement from the SOME guide saying that Madara Susanoo would sell... saying that Madara Susanoo plus Kurama is equal to the Wood Golem Jutsu from a base Hashirama? Really? From what book? The SOEM guidebook? I need to find that. Saitama really grabbed the sword outside of causality. I don't know about that. Our shinobi battlefields are fighting to protect everyone else. Those two are trying to eliminate our reason for this war. That direction is, oh my, what is it, Lord? Please listen to me calmly. Then we need to flee immediately. Considering the blast radius, these Biju bombs, it's too late already. We're feeling safe because we were selected for HQ work. No, I'm a shinobi too. I'm always prepared to die on the line of duty. I feel like I'm going to have to die without having been of much use. So then Shikaku, what do we do? Just keep doing what we must do to the very end. I have a plan to stop the Ten Tails. It'll be my final act. Put me through to everyone on the battlefield. Listen up. Yeah, this is on the other side of the continent. This is still on the same side of the continent. I do not think these guys... I do not think these explosions are that big. Consistently, I think with Superman having so much more shit to go with. But that's the thing, like, which version of Superman are we talking about, right? Because, like, are we doing Capsule Corp versus, like, a stronger version of Superman? And that's the thing I don't like about, like, comic book characters is that, like, when people say Superman, like, has a lot of high scaling, it's like, that's a lot of high scaling from, like, a lot of separate series. If you combine, I don't like talking about composite characters. I like talking about specific versions of characters. There's probably versions of Superman that Goku curb stomps, and there's probably versions of Goku that Superman, that even, like, the weaker versions of Superman curb stomp. Even Sanji's brother outspeed light beams, yep. Eon, Luffy versus Omni-Man, who wins? I would put it on Luffy. We smashed the Allied Force's brains, like I said, strategy 101. Shinobi Alliance HQ. Saitama did actually grab a sword out of causality. Yeah, DC and Marvel rewrite the same shit over and over again. Waste of time to get invested. I don't know if it's a waste of time to get invested. It just means that you have to, like, that there are, like, going to be specific versions of the characters that you might not care for. I put the 20-hour statement in the Discord and tagged you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Server announcement. Thank you. Mentions. Ninja Scrolls. Thank you. I should have had at least 20 hours left. Oh, that's even worse! That's even fucking worse! That's even fucking worse, dude! Let's go back to the calculator real quick. Let me bring up the calculator real quick. Oh, that's even fucking worse. Dude, I'm just gonna pin the calculator to my fucking taskbar. Pin to task. There we go. I'm just gonna have a look around here. Yeah. Dude, that's even fucking worse. Okay, 8760 divided by... Sorry, not times. 8760 divided by, what is it? Every punch takes out about 4 hours worth of life. Give or take, they take about like 4 punches worth of life. So Naruto has to land 2,190 fucking punches in order to take down somebody's lifespan. In order to take down a year's worth of lifespan from somebody. Baryon mode sucks, dude. How do you think Chunjao splitting the continent is continent level by itself, but when you scale him there, but I don't see a continent split equals can destroy a continent even though we scale him there. It doesn't matter if he can destroy the continent. It's stated that he can split a continent that is tougher than normal rock and dirt. The continent is tougher than metal. That means whatever amount of force you think it would take to split an entire continent would also require much more force because the continent is inherently tougher than the very ground we walk upon. It is tougher than metal. That's why it would scale to continent even deeper into continental than just splitting a regular continent. I scale you show earlier can be small country at best because most mountains in Naruto are like 100 meters because the tailed beasts in Gamabunta are a little less than the mountains in Gamabunta. Size is 30 meters and it's, or even less, it's confirmed size. It's 17 meters. It's a little over half of this. Yes, 8,760 is how many hours are in a year. 8,760 is the number of hours in a single year. If Naruto landed 5 2-10 hits against Ishiki, who had about 20 hours worth of life, Ishiki had 20 hours worth of life. Naruto landed 5 to 10 hits. You know what? We could even say divided by 10, you get 2. I was upscaling it real quick. But at that point, it means that this value right here divided by the number of punches. In order to get the number of punches, you have to divide it by 2 or 4, depending on how much you want to give it to Naruto. It would be anywhere between 2,160 or 4,380. Don't quote me on this, but I think the last version of Superman is stated to have all the feats of the previous Superman without any of the anti-feats or something like that. That's stupid. I hate Superman. I really do not like... If that's true, I really hate Superman. Say it now. Goku fanboys will be upset about Papa losing to another hero, but end of series Saitama is beating Goku. God is nasty work. I mean, hopefully God scales above the shit that's in Super. I don't know. The Cosmic Superman thing reminds me of the three-headed T-Rex versus robotic Bigfoot from... Ooh. I think the three-headed T-Rex would fuck up robotic Bigfoot. I mean, what does he really have? Like, it's so much bigger. I'm subscribed now, but I gotta go. Lovely. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, man. Shikamaru, we're in the middle of a war. Don't waste any words on me. Iro, we need to go through the plan with Pause said. Exactly. Key to that plan. What's up, Shikamaru? Okay. 8 trigrams palm rotation. You rotate clockwise. Got it. They repelled it. It's parrying move of Konoha's Kurei clan. It's got a lot of trouble. We've had lots of trouble in the past. Don't just stand there spacing out this battle. People die. If we were just gonna... But if we were defeated and lose this war, then everyone will end up dying. I know that. 2 8 trigrams. 2 8 trigrams. Rotation. Stop a 10 tails hand from... coming near. They parried it. They really fucking parried the Ten Tails. Okay. Shikamaru and Inu's father would likely say that Shinobi, they're glad to have died ahead of their children, just as my father did. Naruto, your power is critical to the plan, so until we execute it, we must protect everyone. Hinata, know this, the Hyuga are the mightiest among Konoha. That's a fucking lie! That's a fucking lie! Dude, the Hyuga being the mightiest of Konoha is like getting the fucking... It's like getting a default participation trophy, cause the winner got fucking disqualified. That's like whoever the fuck won Indie Game of the Year after they took it away from Claire Obscur. What the fuck? I was hoping to take them down before they started with the speeches. It's hard to control the Ten Tails as well. This ought to do until the next transformation, but afterwards I suspect only a Jinchuriki will be able to control it. Though for me to become the Ten Tails, I'll need to be fully alive, not hosted within a dead body as an Edo Tensei. Edo Tensei are perfect for huge suicidal attacks, but the reason you haven't launched the Ten Tails, Biju Bomb, the bunch below us, blowing yourself up as well, is because I'd get caught up in it and die. And the reason that'd be a problem is because in order for you to truly be brought back to life from Detroit, you need me to sacrifice myself to perform the art of Rene birth on you. In short, you're in a delicate position right now where you're entirely at my mercy. Don't forget that. Well, well, my little rugrat sure has become quite the wily fox. Nice. I never really considered you a comrade. So be it. Fine, you decide our next move then. We continue. They will know despair thoroughly. It says Madara's smirking. Yeah, they got dusted narratively. These motherfuckers, I mean, compared to the average person, sure. Dies soon once end of series is a thing. Ichigo and Naruto will be fighting for bronze then. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, wood style cutting springs. The 10... Parried it. The 10 giant wood spikes easily pierce through Shinobi. What an incredible number. Try to evade them. Kakashi saves Sakura. Wow, Sakura couldn't do it without Kakashi saving her? Crazy. I'm like 90% sure unless Luffy destroys a multiverse on screen, most people have Ichigo as the strongest MC in the big three. Ichigo hasn't even destroyed a multiverse either. What the fuck? My mountain jutsu should be at least slow it down until the Ninetales strength returns. Once I need to build up some chakra, hold out. Okay. Rotation. Can deflect these spikes. Where do you scale Ichigo? I scale him at multiplanetary. So many, I can't keep up. Can deflect the spikes, but can't keep up due to the number, due to the sheer number. I haven't met multiplanetary, in case you're wondering. Thanks, Neji. I can activate Sage Mode now. I can't keep relying on you geniuses. Now it's my turn. Rasen Shuriken. Rasen Shuriken. Shuriken. Easily cuts through the spikes. What do you think has more endurance? Pre-time skip Luffy or Sukuna? Endurance? You can probably give it to Luffy based on the stuff from Impel Down. But Luffy needed like a lot of fucking help in order to like survive a lot of things that he went through. Sukuna also had brain damage. That's an interesting question. Sukuna had brain damage. I'm hoping that Naruto comes back. I'm hoping. Here's the thing, and this is why I've been telling people, like, I want them to understand that part of the reason why I don't want to, I'm gonna give my opinion on Hokage Naruto versus Luffy. But if I'm gonna be honest, I'm not going to do an actual Boruto era Naruto versus Luffy in-depth analysis video until after Luffy becomes Pirate King. The reason is, it's gonna give Naruto enough time to hopefully come back into the series and get some better feats, or maybe I'm just missing something from the Boruto anime that, like, just helps quantify a larger, massive increase in abilities, because I'm gonna be real, there's kind of no reason for me to believe Naruto is, like, so much stronger in Boruto that, like, he can make up the speed difference. I just don't have a reason to believe that. It's really not quantifiable. I really hope Naruto gets some extra shit, man. I don't know, have Kurama's chakra split up between him and his daughter. Like, let him get some shit. I don't know. Let's debate who is stronger at At D Desk Akainu or at D Desk Naruto. That's a funny ass thing. Crazy part is PK Luffy is a stepping stone. I would argue Gear 4 is a 10 times amp at least. Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd punches are not effective. Is 2 temps on strings, but as soon as Gear 4 hits, he's hooking them strings, even the stronger ones. I don't think it's a 10 times. I think Gear 4 being a 10 times amp is a very weak, is a very low ball. Like an even lower ball than saying it's a 30 times amp from the several times statements from 2nd Gear, which is a 10 times amp. Eight trigrams, air wall palm. Naruto is exhausted. Oh, a 10 times amp from Gear 3? I don't know how to quantify it to 10 times over Gear 3, if I have to be honest with you. An air palm wall stops a hand. Mountain jutsu. Uh... I personally believe it's more of a 10 times amp. The reasoning justifies it was equal to Luna prior to 2nd Gear. Stomped him single-handedly. 3rd Gear is supposed to be that much stronger than 2nd Gear. There's no way to quantify it other than saying it hits at least twice as hard as 2nd Gear. Thoughts on people capping One Piece top tiers at country level only? It's disingenuous as all fucking hell. There's a feat that by mid tiers that literally puts them in continental. He'll be found out to be a D-Clan member. I hope not. I think it'd be funny if Buggy wasn't, but I could see it happening. I can't necessarily sit here and tell you, like, it would be, like, the worst thing to ever happen, and Oda would be, like, a complete hack for it, but, you know, if it happens, it happens. I'm fine with it. Dozens of shinobi are dead. Dozens, probably hundreds of shinobi are dead. I'll never let my comrades die. I said say those words again as the bodies of your comrades cool in your arms. Take in their deaths. Neji's dead? This will keep happening. Your flippin' ideology. Keep worrying. Both your mother and father are gone, Master Jirai, and you keep standing against us. You'll continue to lose your comrades one by one. Usopp solos. Wait, we're country level now? Finally past island level? Let's go! Let's go. Finally past island level. Type shit. Need help, please. Is there a reason to believe Sasuke has some kind of nature manipulation or something to speed up Kirin? Does the shape of Kirin matter? I don't think the shape itself inherently matters. I don't think the shape of Kirin itself inherently matters, and it's not like he can just manipulate any element like that. He's simply guiding the lightning. Guiding the lightning probably also means changing its shape form. Who wins so far? Oh no, Luffy curb stomps this version of Naruto. It doesn't matter how I try to explain it to somebody. Every single person that I've spoken to that either can at least comprehend like the arguments that I give, they've all said the same thing. I've given the argument to my girlfriend. I've given the argument to my friend Michael. I've explained the argument to my friend Casey, who does at least understand how to power scale. I've given my argument to my friend Alberto, who is like a more classic power scaler. He hasn't really done it in like a long time. He was one of the friends that I had that I told you guys about from like a while back, that like we used to like argue about this stuff all the time. Not like Naruto versus Luffy stuff, but like more so Naruto, just like Naruto scaling as a whole. Because that's like this is the series that basically got me into it. Yeah, there's just no, like, Naruto is struggling against a monster that is, at best, country level, if you just decide to give it country level. I don't think East Blue Luffy beats Six Paths Naruto. I don't think it's that serious either. I would say East Blue Luffy probably loses to Rasen Shuriken Naruto, if you think Rasen Shuriken Naruto is about as fast as Kakashi. At that point, I think that he loses to that version of Naruto, but Naruto starts to lose again until Naruto quite literally starts to lose again once we get to... I don't know about East Blue Luffy beating KCM. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. But I do think that, like, once we get to, like, end of pre-time, he kind of just runs through the whole gauntlet up until, I don't know, KCM2 plus Sage Mode. KCM2 plus Sage Mode is probably around the point where I would start to say again Naruto starts to give Luffy trouble. And that's if, again, I keep lowballing Luffy. I actually have post-time skip Luffy. Sorry, pre-time skip Luffy. End of pre-time skip Luffy at around, on a massive lowball, at least 10 times FTL with second gear. And if I were to give Luffy a more fair scale, at least 4 times faster than KCM2 plus Sage Mode Naruto. At least 4 times faster. Brother Neji just said that you hold on more than one life in your hands. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Naruto Lady Hinata is willing to die for you, so remember, the more you hold more than... Of course it's more than one. Don't forget about me either. I know. Wait, 4? I got you. Yeah, I got you right now. I got you. I'll explain. Give me 1 second. I will pull up the scans and I will show you guys... what my reasoning is, so you guys understand that I'm not just giving you guys some random fucking value. I'll give you guys... So, fuck, I don't have Long Ring Long again. God damn it. Alright, whatever. Foxy the Pirate. Foxy the freaking Pirate. It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit how people choose to interpret this. Foxy quite literally says, whatever this light strikes... whether it's a living creature or gas, will maintain all of its other properties but lose velocity. Slowpoke photons slow down anything that they touch. I can emit these photons from my body. See, whatever this light strikes loses speed. Luffy and the others are light speed by this point in the series. Luffy and the others are light speed by this point in the series. Sorry, Luffy is at least light speed. There's also the statement from Oda in the SBS that says you have to duck. In order to evade Enel's lightning, you have to duck at the speed of light and hit him with a golden right with a bit of rotation. This right here shows Luffy dodging these beams of light that are being reflected multiple times. There's also Luffy evading a beam of light from behind. I don't know what to tell you other than he is literally dodging a beam that is stated 3 times within the context of the story to be light and photons. I don't know. The only argument against the Slowpoke is literally a name fallacy, yeah. are literally weightless and light is fundamentally made out of photons. Yep. So, Luffy is light speed by this point, or at least relativistic. Let's just say Luffy is relativistic, right? Let's lowball it and say that Luffy is relativistic, right? We're not even gonna give him the benefit of doubt on that, right? Let's talk about Luffy versus CP9. When Luffy fights CP9, we know for a fact that Luffy got blitzed by Bluno and Rob Lucci multiple times. CP9 blitzes Luffy multiple freaking times, right? During their first fight. Then Luffy, after getting his ass kicked by Bluno, and you don't think he scales to the Afro amps? I got you, but here's the thing. I'm going to quantify it right now for you guys. There's the reason why I say 4. Luffy got speed blitzed by all of these guys. Now, what do we say right here? The T-Wasei, or the T-Wasei ranking only measures physical abilities. These power levels are physical abilities. Bluno is at 820. When Luffy fights Bluno, he says, I cannot beat you like this. I cannot beat you like this. I can't stay like this. Luffy not only keeps up with Bluno better than he did before, not only objectively better than before, but he says he cannot beat him like this. They're basically evenly matched. I would say that Luffy has, at the very least, a power level of 820. He has to be able to match Bluno's power level perfectly by this point. He keeps up with him consistently. He dodges all of Luffy's attacks. Luffy can keep up with him visibly. It doesn't matter if Bluno is using shave. Luffy is visibly shown to keep up with him, make eye contact with him while he's doing it, and then grabs him and tosses him to the ground. He has to be relative to Bluno. Before, he was a blitz worth of a difference. Luffy was a blitz worth of a difference slower than Bluno before. He was getting perception blitzed by Bluno, and now he is keeping up with him physically in every single sense. I must be careful. Hitting a rubber man doesn't mean much. I didn't think he could keep up with the speed of my shave technique. Luffy is dodging his attacks. He is keeping up with all of his hits. He is dodging every single one of his moves. And even while in this position right here where his head is turning, he's getting dizzy. He doesn't know what way is forward. Luffy was able to dodge his Tempest kick at an extremely close range, even while fixing himself up, and keeps up with Bluno consistently. Okay, if Luffy could react to if Luffy could react previously to a beam of light, Bluno blitzed him. I'm not reacting to videos today, meme master. If Luffy was able to react from behind a beam of light, evaded from behind, and yet is able to keep up physically with Bluno, who blitzed him earlier, that means Luffy has to be relativistic or at least light speed by this point. I'm not going to downplay him that much either. I am not going to downplay him that much either. Luffy does second gear, blitzes Bluno, yada 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 yada. You guys get the math, right? Let's go forward a little bit. Luffy fights Robert Lucci. Luffy fights Robert Lucius. Robert Gucci, Roberto Pucci. We're gonna go with a lot of names here. Roberino Pucciarino. He's fighting Roberino Pucciarino, right? Luffy is keeping up with Robert Lucci consistently throughout this point. Landing hits, keeping up with his punches, matching him. They're basically shown to be at least relative to one another. They're both starting to show signs of damage consistently with one another. He does use the ability. Think of shave like the art of teleportation in Naruto, the body flicker technique. Just think of it like that. It's basically like high-speed, instantaneous movement, though they both differ in the method by which they do it, but yeah, it's basically high-speed movement, right? Luffy's even able, from a distance, to grab Lucci and throw him away. And Lucci's able to blitz Luffy right back. Okay. That means Luffy had to have, in the middle of a span of a fight while in base form, Luffy needed to make up a difference of 4,000 divided by 820 is a difference of about 4.8, 4.7, right? Let's do the math right here. Luffy had to, objectively speaking, make up a difference of at least 4.9 times. Luffy had to make up a difference of, at the very freaking least, 4.9 times. Yes, Luffy only uses second gear, only uses shave while in second gear. No, Luffy uses shave while in second gear. I'll bring it back. I'll show you. There's a statement. It says it, everything. It's right there. Second gear. Oh, right here. I have to delete this. Let's bring this up real quick. Let's just delete this. Okay. Second gear. Impossible. No, it's true. He's definitely using the shave technique and is using it perfectly. When Luffy is using second gear, he is using it perfectly. What's up, Uchiha? Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. My Christmas was good. I spent it home all day. I called a bunch of people. I called up an old friend. We chatted for like 3 hours. I called up my mom. I called up my girlfriend. Chatted with a bunch of people. Chatted with one of my best friends. It was great. I sat down and basically, wait, isn't shave slamming down 10 times to dash? It means you're kicking off the ground 10 times to move forward. He says it right here. I noticed that when you look like you've disappeared, your feet are hitting the ground more than 10 times each instant to move. They are hitting the ground 10 times each instant to move. Okay. No, he did not mistake it for shave. He is saying it right here. Impossible, it's true. He's definitely using the shave technique and is using it perfectly. That cannot be misinterpreted. Objectively is using shave. He is objectively using the technique. Okay. Luffy needed to become, at the very least, 4.9 almost, 5 times stronger in order to fight Robert freaking Gucci. Okay. That means Luffy's base, in order to meet up with Lucci, had to be 4.8 times stronger. The reason why I bring this up is because if that is true, that means that if Luffy is at least light speed by the time he fights Blueno, he has to be light speed. He has to be 4 times faster than the speed of light by the time he fights Robert Lucci. And if he's using second gear, which is a 10 times amp, he has to be moving at 50 times the speed of light. There it is. It is not a number that I get out of nowhere. It is a number that I've given you a quantifiable metric for. There you guys go. Alright, it seems like people want me to react to this Moist Critical video, so let me pull it up real quick and I'll listen to it while we sit down and continue to read through Naruto, okay? What do we got here? Last so weak, bruh. All it takes is a single domain expansion to finish them off. Alright. This kind of character who doesn't need speed or strength, just hacks her abilities. No wonder bro was goated back in 2020s. Are we taking feats from movies? No, I'm not taking feats from movies. I have no reason to, but I will be using Naruto the Last because specifically the NBA has a flopper problem. I don't know what that is. The arrow flops. I don't care about the NBA. I don't know why this popped up for me. Why is this here? Why is this here? I'm not interested in that. Why would you show me stuff about basketball? I don't care about basketball. I'm going to be talking about Naruto the Last. I will have to watch it. I will be watching it at some point. I might watch it this weekend. Why the fuck not? Alright. What was it? Moist Critical. And I show speed. Let's see. One Piece. Let me type in. I'm finally liking One Piece. I've finally done it. reacts to that. I don't give a shit. Live action One Piece is good. Talk about Mihawk. Mihawk. Says Mihawk is a fraud, promoted, kind of homeless. Was it in the fucking channel? Mihawk is a fraud. Anybody got the link to the video? Anybody got the link to the video or something? Can I
may not know what the
pause.
One Piece is.
Pause. I'm not listening to it yet.
You know, I may not
pause. Let's see. He doesn't have the video link. I'm not researching anything. I just got some people asking me to check out a I need a title or something. I don't know. Just look at. I did look at his channel. This is his channel. SpongeBob situation. Trash. Nobody. 5 years. I've finally done it. AI prank are trash. Worst movie plagiarism. Where's the video? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, it's the 5 years video. It's the 5 years video.
We're coming.
All right. Thank you. Do I watch Gumball? I like Gumball. I want to check out the new season of it. Oh God, my girlfriend and I, and like her cousin, we did like a squats. We did some like squats competition where we were trying to see who can squat the most. And my girlfriend and I were being like super stubborn because we're both super competitive, and we kept doing squats until like we were super tired, and my legs are fucking with me for it now. That sucks. Ow. All right. Come on. Go in. There we go. Now I can hear. Get Eon a walker stat. Type shit. That's what happens when you don't go to the gym for a year. Fucking hell. My mom said, do more squats. It'll help you ease the pain. I'm like, fuck no. It's going to make it worse.
Coming up on a very special 5-year anniversary for
Alright. We'll listen to this in the background.
It's
more than one, of course. Don't forget about me either. I know. It takes my bond seriously. I've never been... But Neji is... Don't worry. Don't dare whine and complain further. I'll clobber you and take over your body for good this time. Have you forgotten this too, Ponma?
Mewing? Maybe?
You sealed their arch enemy and left the future and died. Your life was already linked to the other two since the time you were born.
Spent the last 5 years in the laboratory desperately trying to put a few inches on that pathetic little meteors. Well, what if I told you that 5 years could have been better spent doing what I was doing?
Well,
watching One Piece from
just
start
stand back and see how Naruto responds. Seems
over
Naruto makes him uneasy. Very well.
Please,
don't be hasty.
hold your
You're going
I'm
to
no
harm
hero.
yourself as well as
I
the
just did what I
Ten-Tails.
thought needed to be done to finally stop getting
A little
bombarded
hurt is
with the question
acceptable.
of why I
Ten-Tails
didn't
hide
like
is
One
tough.
Piece.
They're gonna
I
hit
started
us.
this journey 5 years ago, which feels like the blink of an eye now in the grand scheme of my One Piece journey, because I had tried numerous times to get into it and just never fell in love with it. But every time I would stream, I'd always be getting the question about, what's wrong with you, Charles? You gotta screw loose to not like One Piece. So I started it out of spite, and I gotta tell you, sports fans, the first year or so of that journey, for the first, like, 200 to 300 episodes were brutal.
Yeah,
Trying
I agree.
to stay awake watching those arcs was a more difficult boss battle than trying to kick a heroin addiction. It was tough. But I pushed through, I persisted,
away,
and I've been giving you steady updates like once a year since. Because after about 300 episodes, I did fall in love with One Piece. Experts may call it Stockholm Syndrome. I call it just objective improvements in the show itself. And I understand in the manga, everyone always says this, the pacing for the earlier arcs is just significantly better in the manga as opposed to the anime. And I imagine they're probably right, but I had committed to watching the show. And I think once we start getting into like Water 7 territory, the show really hits its stride.
I really agree.
And it maintains that. The show does get a drastic improvement, not only in animation.
This is a take that I know a lot of people don't fuck with. Now do 23 setups for 10 seconds. Fuck no. I'm not gonna do 23 setups in 10 seconds. Fuck no. This is multitasking and I'm not adjusted to. Hey, listen, I gotta get work done, and I only have like another 3 hours to do so. Speaking of big creators, apparently all the big content creators are now One Piece fans, all the same. Cinna, that's cool. Okay, Moist Critical is the fraud. It took him 5 years to finish One Piece. Yeah, I didn't bother with the original anime. And anyone slandering Mihawk have no clue what they're talking about. I mean, you can have your opinion on a character, especially if it's a very casual fan. I don't have any, like, whenever, especially like a very casual fan, whenever I have like a conversation with a casual fan about like anything, especially like One Piece, Naruto, etc. Excuse me. I usually take, if it works for you, go for it. 1 second. Let me go get a nail clip. I gotta like fix a little hanging nail that I got. There's a topic of conversation that I've had with a few friends before about like the idea that like, okay, do I personally think that like every single person that reads or watches a series is like looking at it from the same perspective as I am, or anybody else that I speak to, whom, you know, really takes the series a lot more, I guess, seriously? No, not inherently. People sometimes just watch things to watch it. People are not looking out to find all the themes. They're just here to see what the quality of the time spent watching something is. There are things that the average anime or casual fan of anything, right? If you are a casual music fan and you talk to somebody about, let's say, like a band, I don't know, Sleep Token, for example. My girlfriend absolutely adores Sleep Token. I don't know jack shit about music, so whenever we're having conversations about like Sleep Token or any other, I have not seen Physics Princess. So whenever she and I are talking about like anything like music related, she will know so much more about me just from the sheer guys that, yeah, there are things about music that like I'm just not gonna pick up on, or there are things about songs, even when it comes to the lyrics, that I'm just not gonna pick up on. Like, she likes poetry as well. I don't really get like the whole like subversive meaning behind like many verses and stuff, but she's able to pick up on those things a lot better. She's able to break them down. In the same way, I am able to, as well as many of you, we're able to sit down and really extrapolate many of the things that are being stated or said within the context of a series, and we're able to see whether or not it is true or not true. For the average casual fan, especially for someone like, and I don't know what his take is going to be on Mihawk yet, but if you're someone that like likes Mihawk, or you're able to like defend his thing because you're able to see the story and you're able to see the narrative and all the stuff with Shanks, yada yada yada, and you're able to pull all those things together to say that like, yeah, the character's not a fraud, he's just, sorry, Psychic Princess? No, I have not seen Psychic Princess. You're going to be able to like figure out that the character is isn't a fraud, but to the average viewer that is only looking at things again from a very casual perspective, they're not going to be able to have these things. Like, you're not going to sit there and have like an entire power scaling conversation as somebody in Naruto that only has ever watched it like once or twice, maybe. Never read the manga. They just watched the series as it was coming out, and they're like, oh yeah, I like it. I fuck with Naruto. Naruto's like really strong, right? Like, I know when to turn on and off my tism, you could say. The tism, we'll call it. You have to know when to turn on or off your tism to certain people, because you have to know who it is that you're talking to, especially, or how invested into something that they are. Whenever I'm having a conversation with anybody about anything, whether it's like, let's say, I'm out in the streets, maybe I'm at a store getting something to drink, and I see that like the barista or the guy that's helping me like pick up my package in Best Buy. If we're talking about like Naruto, it's like a Naruto tattoo, or she has like a Naruto or a One Piece like bracelet or whatever, or like a little like necklace or accessory, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, and we're talking about it. And I'm not gonna bring in here and say like, oh yeah, XYZ, and then Sengoku's a fraud and blah 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 blah, and I can prove it. And I'm not gonna go into these kind of conversations. I'm gonna be like, oh, that's lovely, yeah, and I like this character too. Oh man, that part is so sick. Like, you know, you can sometimes have a conversation to the same extent towards what the person is knowledgeable of. It takes a bit of like it does take a bit of like you could say a social and analytical eye. You have to be able to basically have the awareness to know if the person you are talking to is a big fan or a more casual fan, or even like a power skiller. You have to be able to like quickly deduce those kinds of things for the people. If I were having a normal conversation with Charlie, right? If I had the opportunity to sit there and really have a conversation with Moist Critical for whatever fucking reason, and you know, he and I are talking about One Piece, I'm not gonna sit here and go into like the power scaling, go into like the intricacies and explain the whole thing in and out unless he really wants me to go into it. I'll probably just be having a conversation like, what's your favorite arc? Oh yeah, Water 7, I completely agree. It is probably where the series really hits its strides. And just to say it, yeah, just talk in a casual manner. You don't need to have like any crazy conversation about anything. And it's also not a bad thing to have a conversation with a casual fan, or like to hear them, they have like a take about like the series. If somebody has like a really casual perspective of like, oh no, One Piece is bad, bro, I tried to give it like the first 150 episodes and I just couldn't do it. And I'm like, you know what? 150 episodes, that's a long fucking way, man. If the reason Eon took dinner with Moist Critical over $1 billion, not really. I'd still pick the $1 million. I think even Charlie would think I'm fucking stupid if I didn't take $1 million over having a fucking conversation with him. I don't know, man. The $1 million could go a long way for the channel. A conversation with him, I mean, yeah, it would probably go a long way too in terms of like maybe notoriety, but also like, hey, I don't know if I want to like. I don't know if I want to like build up the channel just off of something like that. But anyway, the point I'm really trying to just get here is that like you have to be able to know, like you have to be able to like also identify to what extent the person you're talking to like understands the series. I'm not saying that he doesn't understand. I'm not saying that like he's some bumbling idiot who doesn't understand the intricacies of one. Like no, One Piece is a series that you can take to like many different extents, whether it's the theming or the writing. I don't really like Charlie particularly. Obviously, I take the money. Yeah. That's also fine. Like, what he's saying right here about, like, it being a slog to get through up until, like, Water 7, I agree. I'm not saying that, like, One Piece is bad prior to Water 7, but, like, I agree. When I was talking to my friend Michael about it, he was like, once we got to Water 7, dude, everything just completely changed. And I'm like, you know what? I completely agree with that. I think everything prior to Water 7 is a pain in the ass to get through. It's a fun story still. The writing is still there. It's just that it doesn't hit its stride. It doesn't become the series that it becomes until you really hit Water 7. And that's why I think it's like the big point that everybody needs to get through. If you are someone who wants to, I hate this take because it's ridiculous, because 230 isn't something to sneeze at. People aren't getting past 20 episodes or something, let alone 230. That's what I'm saying. Like, if somebody got to like episode 150 of One Piece and they said, I just can't do it anymore, if they got to Skypiea and stopped, it sucks because Skypiea isn't that bad. I don't think Skypiea is a terrible series. I complete, to be honest, every arc and I really clicked. I mean, but that's the thing. It clicked with you. You can't sit here and say that it has to click with everybody else. And I know that you're not saying that it has to click with everybody else, but like, even I'll admit it. To be honest, for me personally, One Piece sucks up until Water 7. I really do not care for One Piece whatsoever up until Water 7. Skypiea is not filler. Well, if you're talking about like the filler in Skypiea in terms of like the animation, I guess sure, but like there are portions of, like I've always said, One Piece is not a perfect story either. There are portions of it where, like, when One Piece hits, it fucking hits. But when it has its lows, like certain portions of, like, the pre-time skip, I'm like, dude, why am I sitting here? This cannot be the peak that people are talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah, Arlong Park, I would say, as a matter of fact, I would break down One Piece like this. There are 3 major points in time where you as that One Piece will turn you into a fan. Either A, East Blue, at the end of East Blue, when Luffy and the King go into to take down Arlong, when Nami says, Luffy, help me. That is the earliest moment possible that a casual fan might get into One Piece. The second moment is at the end of the Alabasta series, where Luffy and the others raise their hands at Vivi to show her that they're still her fucking friends. After Luffy takes down Crocodile, after they bring back the rain. That is the second point that a person might say, okay, One Piece, I finally get One Piece, I fall in love with it. The third point, and the one that will guarantee turn somebody into a One Piece fan, if it didn't before, it'll be this one. It's Water 7 and Enies Lobby. I'm disagreeing with you. There's no way you spent 200 just saying and you kept watching. I dropped Saint Seiya for less than that. But that's the thing. Some people are willing to give something more time. Some people are willing to give something more time. They're willing to say, I'm gonna give it an honest fucking try. You could say 20 episodes is an honest try. That's fine. Listen, I don't give a shit. Whatever, it's subjective at the end of the day, how many episodes you feel are going to be necessary in order to give a series a try before you say, I'm gonna stop watching. 200 episodes of something is insane. The people that would give a series 200 episodes, the people that give, hey, listen, I dropped Hunter x Hunter after the first fucking episode. I gave up on Hunter x Hunter after the first episode, man. I don't give a shit. You could drop the episode after the first fucking episode. What I'm saying is, if you give a series 20 episodes, 50, 100, 150, 200, if you drop the series right afterwards, I'm gonna be so fucking real with you. Hey, listen, hands up, I'm gonna be real with you. Hey, I'm not gonna sit here and even remotely tell you there's anything wrong with that. You either want to like the series, you either want to give it a real try, or you either gave it a try and you were like, no, fuck it, it's not for me. You can tell how good something is based on Hunter x Hunter is not a masterpiece. I can guarantee you that because you got multiple people here telling you that shit is trash. You can like it, you can think it's a masterpiece, and you know what? I think that's a perfectly reasonable take. I think that anybody thinking that anything is a masterpiece is a perfectly reasonable take depending on what it is. But like, hey, listen, man. It's one of those, it's just one of these cases where like, you have to just sit here and just consider like, okay, what is a specific person's threshold? Some people are willing to give 50 episodes, some people are willing to give 100, some people aren't even willing to give 1. See, some people like Hunter x Hunter, some people don't. Not gonna yell at you for not liking it, but damn, it's amazing. That's what I'm saying. If you think it's amazing, I'm not gonna hear and tell you it's trash. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's fucking trash. If you think Hunter x Hunter is a good series, hey, it's a fantastic series. Who the fuck am I to tell you? It's just an opinion. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Could have been One Piece's biggest rival if Togashi wasn't a sneezy snail. Well, it's mostly his back issues, and I'm gonna be honest with you. At that point, just give it to somebody else. Even my girlfriend, when I explained the whole situation to my girlfriend, she was like, "Why doesn't this dude just give the series to somebody else?" She was like, "I'm pretty sure there are people out there who can draw Hunter x Hunter." She looked at the art style and she was like, "Yeah, there are definitely people out there who can just replicate this manga style. Just have Togashi literally sitting back on his bed. Just have Togashi lie back on his fucking bed. Just sending voice messages to the person that's writing the series." I don't know, man. And like, they're two different things. The writing is solid, but it's not as entertaining. I don't know about entertaining or fun. I can't tell you that because I just straight up didn't like it. But I do agree with the take. Doesn't draw like anyone. Bro. Hunter x Hunter art style. You're not... Listen. There are a lot of things that Togashi can do, but I would be sitting here and lying if I said that somebody can't replicate this. Like, if you actually... I'm not saying that it would be exactly the same. I'm not telling you that it would be exactly the same. But this eye right here, for example, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is the most detailed eye I have ever seen. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that these features and this hair is the most detailed thing ever. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, like, somebody can't replicate this. You know what I mean? Isn't that high anymore. And that's fine, Jeff. That's fine. Listen, Jeff, if you sat down and told me, hey, Eon, I checked out Blue Lock. I decided to give the first 10 episodes to Blue Lock, and I couldn't even get past episode 5. You know what? That's completely fine. Your threshold, anybody else's threshold, is going to be different. And it is a completely fine thing. If somebody says you have to give a series at least a season, I don't agree with that. I'm not going to give Hunter x Hunter a season. I don't give a shit. I don't give a flying fuck about giving Hunter x Hunter a single season. I don't have to give it a single season. Nobody has to give anything. You don't owe anything or anybody anything. I don't owe Togashi my fucking time. I didn't even owe Kubo my time, and I gave him 686 chapters, and I thought that shit was absolute dog ass. But I did it mostly for content. My point here is, if you don't like something, you don't have to sit down and do it. If you do like it, whatever. And as far as Togashi goes, this motherfucker just needs to let somebody else draw his manga while he tells them what exactly to write and draw. That's all I'm saying. Hey, and if he doesn't trust anybody issues, then hey, listen, I guess your fan base is gonna be the one. If here's the thing, some writers are a lot more personal with their work. Some writers are probably like, I don't want to give my work to anybody because nobody's going to be able to replicate it the same way I am. And I think that's fine. I think we've seen that, like, there are certain times where certain writers... I feel like there are certain times where certain writers are also very stingy with their own IP, and they're like, I'm not going to give it to anybody. Nobody's going to draw it for me. It's the work that I am going to do alone. I don't think it's stubborn. I just think that they care about it enough to do that. Now, my thing with that, though, is like, at that point, the only people suffering from this isn't even Togashi, because I'm pretty sure he's fine on the paycheck side. I think the issue with this is that, like, his fan base is essentially fighting tooth and nail I think his fan base is just fighting tooth and nail to like get a new fucking chapter or like defend Hunter x Hunter. I feel like that's just the issue at that point. But anyway, back to this bullshit.
But in pacing, and I genuinely think everything in it starts to elevate. So I'm extremely happy I did push through and catch up with the show, because it is extraordinary. So now that I'm caught up, I'm just going to give you all of my thoughts, kind of like as a all-encompassing debriefing. Because like I said, I've been giving you yearly-ish updates on my One Piece progress, but I just want to put a nice little bow on all my thoughts on One Piece as a whole, and I guess I'll get into the nitty-gritty here, the spaghetti and meatballs of Egghead specifically, since that's obviously the most recent arc. But anyway, overall, I love One Piece, like I said.
No, I agree with this. You definitely should only check something out because of that.
Highs, but with that comes some lows as well. In particular, Fishman Island. That is my least favorite arc in the entire series.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take. I've grown a bit more respect for Fishman Island. I've grown quite a ways more respect for Fishman Island, especially the Horty Jones stuff, but that's mostly because of the power scaling aspect of it. If it weren't for the power scaling aspect, I don't know if I could say the same things, but I think Fishman Island is fine. I think Fishman Island is okay. Yeah. That's Naruto. No, it's the Ninetales chakra. No, it's not. It's Ninetales. No, Naruto. It's Naruto's chakra. Nice work transforming and then transferring my chakra, Naruto. I got the hang of it now. So help me out, Kurama. That Shinobi Nara, he sure dissected my chakra exchange capabilities extensively. Sorry for the wait. You can use a small number of shadow clones now too. Wow, this is the chakra Naruto's been handling. Naruto reactivates KCM2.
I hated that. That was a slog to get through, and I found so little to like about Fishman Island. And I know I've yapped quite a bit about my disdain for that arc, and I'm not going to go too deep into it here, but just know that shit is poop. I do not like the green eggs and ham of Fishman Island. But my favorite arcs are as followed, in this order. My favorite arc is Marineford, followed by Innie's Lobby, followed by Dressrosa. And the more thought I put into it, the harder it became to choose what are my definitive favorite arcs, because there are some turbo bangers in here. So it's always been a bit fluid, but the one that's never changed as my favorite arc is Marineford. That one's pretty unbeatable, but the rest have kind of moved here and there, ebbed and flowed. And I know Dressrosa in particular is a bit of a contentious pick to be in my top 3 arcs. Worth noting, I watched One Piece, so it cut out a lot of filler, which Dressrosa was apparently famous for. I didn't get that experience. I got just a really high quality, very compelling arc that I loved from start to finish. So maybe my Dressrosa experience was very different than a normal anime watcher's experience if they watched all the filler and stuff. One Piece did an extraordinary job of keeping everything flowing, keeping it moving, and it was great. I
can understand where you're coming from with that, Gabby. I can understand where you're coming from. The thing about like One Piece as a series, and as I was going into it before, is that like you kind of have to, if you're, depending on what kind of IPs or series you're more invested in, it's very goofy and it's very, I want to use the word humble from its beginnings. Humble in the sense that Luffy starts off the journey very slowly. He's enjoying his time seeing people, he's enjoying his time meeting new folks, getting to know the islands that he's been going to, and just seeing the overall situation. What is this? Ragnarok? What are we talking about? Oh! Oh, Bob! Oh, Bob! You've given me the greatest gift of them all! A new One Piece chapter! Ah! Oh! Man, my girlfriend couldn't have me screaming like this. Ha ha! Sorry, how about that, honey? If you're listening. Ha ha! Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, let's check out the latest One Piece chapter. Yeah, we're doing this. I'm leaving it here for anybody that does not want to experience this chapter. For anybody that does not want to experience this chapter in a first-hand review, You are more than welcome to step out. We will be ready in about 10 minutes. It's also my birthday, so this is just the icing on the cake. Oh, happy freaking birthday, Bob. Happy freaking birthday, dude. Happy freaking birthday. That must suck, having a birthday right after Christmas. You get 2 gifts, 2 gift days back to back. That'd be sick. That'd be so fucking cool. Guys, I will give you, I'll give you guys about a minute before I check it out. At 2:14, I'm going to open up the video. So if you got anybody that wants to step out for a moment, we'll be done with the chapter in like 15 minutes. Yeah, we'll be done with the chapter in about 15 minutes. I'm gonna read it later, so I'm about, yeah, you can be back here in like 10-15 minutes. Don't worry about it. We'll be done quickly. We'll talk about it for a little bit and then we'll go. On fucking Christmas week, man. That is so crazy to me. Oda really is the fucking GOAT. Why I have a tier for YouTubers and why I consider Moist to be a fraud. Yeah, Alexander was great analysis theme. He's up there with Melanie. Cool. Cool. You're gonna read it right now for yourself? Cool. Also, I have to close these up. Ugh, dude, I don't want to bring these back up later. I hope that nobody comes in asking me to scale this shit again. Alright, let's check it out. Okay, an assault from the hammer. Bastard! Bastard, who's there? Who was that hurled the hammer at me? Come at me here, you. Come out of here, you bastard. There's no one here. Anyway, the devil for any to crack. Creak, creak, crack. You've got to be kidding me. There's no way that thing is that heavy. What the... What's the deal with this castle? Has it become decrepit? It's no use, Loki. The national treasure, devil fruit, no one has eaten it for hundreds of years. No one has been able to eat it because Ragnar has never acknowledged anyone. But with the powers I have now... Holy shit, they cut off his fucking leg. Their wounds come with corresponding pain. If you keep throwing a barrage of attacks at them, you can eventually... drive them into a state of incapacitation. Those who can coat their attacks with Conqueror's Haki are these guys' weaknesses. The wounds come with corresponding pain. If you can keep throwing a barrage of attacks at them, you can even drive them into a state of incapacitation. Interesting. So it's a special kind of immortality. Let's see. So you're going to oppose me? Of course. You think we'd let someone like you, who lost all reason, do whatever he wants? Gaban, why do you know the weakness of the Knights of God? Because in the past, they came to take you back more than once. There should be a red-haired child in your care. There's no mistaking it. He's our captain's son. Hand him over. Come to think of it, that guy Summers, he did say something like that. It takes me back a tale from the past, but I was surprised to find out that there's a combat force in the Holy Land. I thought all celestial dragons are useless pieces of junk. In this world, they rarely ever come down. They really believe themselves to be gods. Just thinking about it gives me chills. That could have been my whole life. That's what you call fate. Gaban-san, I want to save Harold, but it was you who taught me that doom comes from becoming one of Knights of God. Seems like the only hope for now is Loki. I'm telling you to move over, Hammer. Thud, thud. So you're basically the national treasure's guardian, huh? Why can't it move? It's just a hammer. What the heck is going on? Oh, shit! It broke through his hammer. I like this hammer design more, too. Fuck. That sucks. Whoa, my hammer! Dunk, dunk. Kudu-du-du-du-du. Is this fuck... What is it? What is it? Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. It's not Agnaster. What is it? Don't tell me. The World Tree Squirrel. What's the World Tree Squirrel's name? Ratatasker. That's what I was thinking of, like a Katasker. It's Ratatasker. This must be a Zoan Devil Fruit, a legendary Zoan Devil Fruit. Likely a mythical kind, Ratatasker, which is essentially the God Tree Devil Fruit. Yes, Ratatasker. Out of the way, we should do... What should we do to end this? The target is also using Conqueror's Hawking. This is the first time for me. Soldiers, keep Harold delayed. Harold must not have that Devil Fruit. Okay. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the fuck is happening? Koo-doo-doo-doo? Holy fuck. Bow? Okay. So you've eaten it, Loki. Now show it to me. The legendary power... Boom. Okay. Boom. Boom, boom. Okay. As you expected, Loki, within you, the blood of a conqueror flows. Hey, if you've come back to your senses, then, it's just for a moment, cough. Don't be deceived. Just look around you. This is too extreme. For me to be forgiven, you were just being controlled. Not quite. It's more like my very thoughts started to fall under that thing's influence. I was beginning to think myself as a god, but you could lead Elbath with honor, together with your elder brother. Make sure to get along well. You're the worst. You know what? Making your own son end your life. Not even the scummiest parent would ever make their child do something like this. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention one thing. Thank you for that incident about Ida. How did you? Burning down the brewer's village won't bring Ida back, but I truly appreciate your feelings. The Dominion is coming back. Ah, so when the mark returns, I'm holding a grudge against you for this. You bastard, for making me do a job like this. Me too. I love you. From my understanding, what Loki said about holding a grudge and all that, Harold understood a simple I love you from Loki. That's why he responded, me too. I love you. Wow. Loki, my son, all that matters is the future of Elbath. Wow. He completely shattered him with that lightning bolt. Wow. Wow. Hold on 1 second. Let me take this in. Loki fucked him up. Loki fucked up Harold. Tries to hit Loki, completely goes back, and Loki's just entirely unscathed. What did Loki turn into? A giant squirrel devil fruit? It's definitely not a giant squirrel devil fruit. Squee. That's so crazy. Probably model Fenrir. You can kind of see a shadow of Loki right here. Fenrir, I'm guessing? I'm hoping it's Fenrir. I know some people are making jokes about it possibly being a dragon-like devil fruit. Probably like a Norse mythology, like Nidhogg. Like Nidhogg. Let's see. Nidhogg. Nidhogger. A Germanic dragon of Norse mythology. What if he has a devil fruit or Jormungandr? It didn't seem like he was a world serpent. It didn't seem like a world serpent, but holy shit. The shadow doesn't look wolf-like. That's also true. Fafnir? Ooh, Fafnir. Let's check out Fafnir. By the way, let me just say one thing. These names, these Norse names are badass as fuck. Fenrir, Fafnir, Nidhogger, Ratatasker, like, come on now. Oh, Sleipnir. You're talking about Sleipnir. You're thinking of Sleipnir. Man. No break? There's no break? Wow. No break after chapter 1170. He's not going to fit on the Sunny. How tall is Loki? They usually average about, like, yeah, 60, 67 to, like, 80, like, so, like, 67 to, like, 60 to 67 meters tall. Yes. Largest known of the rays over... Charlotte Linley. Normal giants are 12 meters tall at minimum, while the tallest known Charlotte Linley normal giants tend to hover around 20 meters in height when fully grown, and Mordley being the shortest known giant at 12.53 meters. Road being the tallest at 26 meters. Wow. Ancient giants, according to the third, both reaching 16 meters or 200 feet in height, which is 3 times the typical height of a giant. Little Ors Jr., the most distinctive features in giants are their sheer size, being extremely tall and much bigger than the average giant, with a pair of horn and sharp teeth, have uniquely colored skin. Ors, red. Number of giants, the Yeti Cool brothers, yes. Wow. Why Hajrudin needs a fire fruit to beat that one, though. It doesn't make sense to answer just to be Conqueror's Hockey, so Conqueror's is just probably a mistranslation because the special type of COC, especially Power of Love. I don't know about that. Could probably just be, it could quite possibly just be that. A notable Vegapunk leading scientist, create artificial dragons and not to seek in the endeavor. His rival Caesar Clown had more success, only pursuing unethical procedures. Represent children. A notable failed subject of the world government experience are the numbers from the world government attempt to turn ancient giants, despite their deemed failures, as they appear equivalent size and strength to ancient giants that had lived for decades following the experience. However, it appears to possess limited mental capabilities, and many have unusually animalistic physical features. Following the experience, they were purchased by the former Kaido, currently part of his crew. Anyway, all right, enough of that.
Really like that arc, but I don't think anything will probably ever be.
How much would I rate the chapter? An 8 out of 10. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It was pretty good. I liked it.
Marineford, I mean, I guess I can't say for sure because I don't know where One Piece is going to go, but Marineford was just the culmination of everything that had been building for so long in an extremely satisfying and emotional arc. This arc,
He probably just needs stronger COC. Yeah, it could probably just be for COC. I mean, that just upscales Warcury. Like, we think, like, again, people just have this preconceived notion that, like, the Gorosei are weak. They're probably way stronger than we think. They just couldn't go all out. In some panels, he looks 5 times a normal giant's height.
well,
they are very big.
Opened my third eye to a painful revelation that I may not know what the One Piece is yet, but I do know what the one truth is. That Mihawk is a fraud.
That as well.
Mihawk clashed briefly with Vista in the Marineford arc, and it became abundantly clear that this man might just not be the world's greatest swordsman. Maybe he's like King from One Punch Man, where everyone just perceives him as this unbeatable, indomitable force of nature, but in reality, he's just not. We haven't seen Mihawk do a single fucking thing since he clashed with Zoro
Brought that
at
thing
the
in the
Baratier,
wooden box on the left-hand shelf of my
ago.
closet without your
like,
mom
it is
finding out.
so
I know
sad.
about it,
Like, it
don't
is
worry.
actually is so sad. He just gets by on aura and aura alone. Speaking of world's greatest swordsman, for the longest time throughout this series, my favorite character was Zoro. But now that I'm finally caught up, it's still Zoro. It was then and it is now. People like to boil him down to just being like a very one-dimensional flat character, but I just think that they're not watching the same. Speaking of world's greatest swordsman, for the longest time throughout this series, my favorite character was Zoro. But now that I'm finally caught up, it's still Zoro. It was then and it is now. People like to boil him down to just being like a very one-dimensional flat character, but I just think that they're not watching the same show. That's so disingenuous. I can recognize that his motivations and a lot of the side quests, we'll call them, that he goes on are simpler than the rest of the crew, but that doesn't mean that he lacks as much depth as they have. I think Zoro is a perfect character to contrast the rest of the crew, and I always appreciate where he ends up throughout the arcs. My favorite villain is Doflamingo, but my most slept-on superstar is Magellan. I'm somewhat of a Magellan maniac. I believe that if that man could get off the toilet for even just an additional 3 or so hours and they'd let him spread his fucking wings outside of his prison, that man could be an actual threat. Now, of course, it's just pure delusion and hopium to believe that we might see him again engaging in the overall plot of One Piece. I think his role is kaput. he himself is a prisoner of the shitter, and he will probably never leave Impelled Down. But I think if he ever did, he would genuinely be an extremely powerful character, even in like the current landscape of things. My most controversial take on One Piece is that Sabo is genuinely a fanfic character that you have to suspend disbelief in order to accept his presence in this series.
Six, what's your take about that? Holy shit, you know how Adventure works on Haki, all parts of your body? Giants have more size in there, so you know what I'm saying. I guess. Low IQ, comprehensive skill, while Oda keeps insisting this guy is the strongest swordsman. Harold's foot was as big as a regular giant in one panel. Yeah, they're pretty fucking big. Warcury, Luffy is basically objectively true. We saw what happened and they interacted, and Warcury seemed to be relative. Vista over Crust Hawk. Ew. Oh man. Miyako was so bored when Vista told him like, hey, another day, hey. He didn't even focus on him. Till the day I die, simply because he gets to live with the best girl Perona, and I hope he runs into a bloodlusted Vista who won't accept postponing a fight. That's crazy. You'd really do that? Listen, I know you really hate that guy just because he lives with Perona? At least he treats her with respect and cooks for her. Like, I mean, like, I don't know how to respond to that. Cause yeah,
really,
yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10.
More...
I give it an 8 out of 10 for a chapter. It was really fucking good. I just we're not gonna get to see fucking Loki's devil fruit until Luffy unshackles him completely.
I think about Sabo, the less and less sense it makes for him to even be here. Just this secret third brother that just happens to pop up out of nowhere, and somehow he is the well-known second in command of the Revolutionary Army, a world-famous group, and yet somehow Ace, who himself is extremely notorious and high-ranking in the Whitebeard Pirates, never knew Sabo was alive? Was Ace illiterate? Maybe, but even if he was illiterate, why the fuck couldn't he see pictures in a newspaper? Did he never hear Sabo's name, even though apparently everyone knew about Sabo, who he was in the Revolutionary Army? And there was never anything in Ace's ear that was like, wait, Sabo.
I get.
It's ringing a bell.
I guess.
My brother. It just doesn't compute, and especially the timing makes it even more fishy, where it feels like the sole reason behind Sabo's presence in the story is that he was drummed up, conjured as a replacement to Ace. He just happens to come through after Ace's death. He also gets Ace's devil fruit. It really feels like Sabo's entire purpose was just to be a Ace replacement. And the way Sabo even is used in the story itself is very odd. He's kind of here as like this all-powerful, damn near omniscient presence who can do everything, and is used exclusively for like these fake out moments. So like he goes to the world government and like the 5 elders attack him. He might be dead, but he's not dead. He's on an island. The island gets blown up. Sabo might be dead. He's not dead. It's like, it's very weird. Sabo as a character just doesn't really fit with the rest of the characters One Piece introduces.
It's not me.
And it just feels like the way...
It's not me. I was just listening to a video from a Moist Critical. What's up, Nier? Nerth. What's up? AI prior to the 2-year Revolutionary War operated very secretly. Sabo's high rank and activities were not widely known to the general public or pirates like Ace and Luffy. We'll have to see how it's explained. Just came after reading the chapter and the fact that all the Holy Knights are non-conquerors users except Shamrock. Yep. So you need to stop COC. How COC to stop the... You still think cannot stop regen... Nope, I don't. I really don't. I genuinely don't believe it now. Because it just seems to pertain specifically to their regenerative... their own special kind of regeneration that these people have. I don't know if I can necessarily agree with it, especially if what it's turning off is specifically a magical circle style regeneration. I still don't believe it. Like... It would have to be the type of regeneration, kind of like with Naruto, where your cells are constantly dividing and grow, and not a magical looking regeneration that seems to grow from a separate kind of power, in order for me to sit here and believe that it could just work with all kinds of regenerations regardless of what we're talking about. No, I don't believe it. I'm still not convinced. I'm sorry.
way in which he is put into this story feels very forced.
I'm not saying you
and
can't. I'm just saying
very
I'm not convinced.
out
I'm not
of left
gonna
field.
throw in that
Now,
logic
not
yet.
to be confused with me being a Sabo hater, I don't even really dislike him or anything. It just feels very odd how he gets into this story in the first place and the way in which he is used in the story. But his scenes are hype. Like, it is a cool sequence when he, like, tries to save Cobra and everything. Like, it is cool to watch, but I just don't think it makes a whole lot of sense how we even got to that point with Sabo in the first place is all. But still are cool sequences with Sabo, and I do think that he is an interesting character. Anyway, though, let's now dive into Egghead. So when I was first watching Egghead, I was a pretty vocal Scrooge on it. I didn't really love the first half of the Egghead arc. The second half, however, significantly better and much more invested. I think the second half of Egghead has been...
Hold on. Let me see this. Let me see this again. It's a lot stronger and more of it than last time. There's something I want to confirm regarding the intel from the last battle sequence. Kakashi, you said that the reason why you were able to travel through space-time using Kamui plus pull 8 tails in and out almost whole was thanks to receiving 9 tails chakra from Naruto, right? Yes, though to be completely accurate, I received the chakra directly from the 9 tails. Okay. It's a lot stronger than last time. In reference to your choice of words, thank you. How was it different? How was it using the Kamui? How different was it using the Kamui compared to Nine Tails Chakra? Could you explain it to me in simpler terms? I would say more than 3 times. He's not saying that the cloak. He says Kamui. He says Kamui. Kamui is 3 times more powerful. I would say more than 3 times the power. I couldn't really hurl things that were very big. Okay. So, touching hands... The cloak amps by a greater degree. The cloak amps by a greater degree. Yeah, okay. I also mean he can't regen his limbs.
Really, really, really good. First half, bit of a snoozer. But I do think it was necessary to eat your vegetables first here in this case because it does help lay the foundation and build the stakes for what comes in the second half. But yeah, I really was not liking the first half of Egghead. I really didn't like the Seraphim, by the way. I didn't think that they were a strong addition to the One Piece story. Vegapunk, love Vegapunk. I love everything with Stella. I think that is so good, and I really think they... I can't remember if I've been doing...
Okay, so I feel like people have misinterpreted this statement right here. It's a lot stronger and more of it than last time. In reference to the previous sequence where he grabs onto Naruto, where he made physical contact with Naruto, in reference to this right here, the wording to this moment, just to be clear, Shikaku says, in reference to your choice of words, thank you, how different was it using the Kamui compared to Nine Tails Chakra? Could you explain it to me in simple terms? I would say more than 3 times the power. I couldn't really hurl things that were very large or do it very often before that. What he's saying is that the Kamui that Naruto used, the Kamui that he used after he made this touch, this physical touch with Naruto, was 3 times more powerful. It was 3 times greater than average. That's why he was able to teleport the entirety of the Ten Tails. The entirety of the Ten Tails. That's the point I'm trying to get to. So this cloak right here, the one that everybody has, is a greater amp, is a lot stronger and more of it than last time. How much? Again, a lot is not... How much is a lot quantifiably? Large or indefinite quantity, varying from the context. 10 apples versus 1,000 wafers, but generally implying several, 5 to 10. Often starting from 5. Alright. More than a few, several, 5. Several is 5 to 9. A lot usually starts somewhere around 10 to 20. Sure. Let's see. So it's greater than 3 times amp to ninjutsu. Unquantifiably greater than 3 times. Yes. It's this amp right here is unquantifiably greater than 3 times. So everyone here is stronger than 3 times. I think a 6 times amp is fine. He says a lot, so I'd probably use a bigger number. I would say maybe like, if you want to use like 5 to 10 times in the same way as like the word several, you can use the term like, you can use like 5 times, so like a 15 to 20 times amp if you want to say that. Like a 15 to like an 18 times amp if you want to say that. Let's just use that value. Like 15 to 20 times. I think that's fine. I think that's honestly like a simple enough value. If you want to also say that like this is equivalent to like a one-tailed cloak, you can also use the term. I mean, I guarantee that Nishimoto was not looking up how much is a lot. He probably doesn't even know. That's fine. That's why I'm saying unquantifiably. You can also just say that this cloak is like a 10 times amp, which would be a lot compared to like a 3 times amp, if that makes sense. Perhaps I'll lend Obito a little power too. Yeah. Yep. Okay, Biju Bomb. Light beam of light. Wall, giant casting. The combination, I won't let Neji's death be in vain. A curse mark once carved, never until... Curse mark that once carved never vanishes until death. A combination of... Mifune's beam of light, killer bees, tailed beast bomb, multiple air palms, and a large wind style jutsu can push away how many tails? 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 tails. Can push away 7 tails from the alliance. Madara offered a bit of power too. Season 3, Core 2. Good for them. If a lot at 10 times at 30 amps, it would be a 30 times amp to base ninjutsu. Probably. Yeah, you can also get it up to 30 if you want. And it would make some level of sense if you think that like KCM2 is a 90 times amp. If you think that KCM2 is a 90 times amp, it probably makes sense that like they're getting at least like a third of the amp Naruto's getting. I think it's fine. I think it's a fine enough multiplier.
Doing spoilers when going through my One Piece journey. I think for the most part I have been, because a lot of the arcs that I've been covering are like fucking 15 years old. But I don't know if I should do spoilers for Egghead since it's still fresh. I'll try and nah, I'm gonna have to get into spoilers. There's no way I can talk about some of the things I didn't like about it without getting into spoilers. Let's start with the things that I really liked. Kuma's backstory.
Naruto,
My oh my, did they hit a grand slam with Kuma's backstory. That is probably the peak flashback. I don't want to use the word arc because it's not a flashback arc, but peak emotional character backstory so far in the show.
True RS.
I thought they really crushed Kuma's story. It is tragic from top to bottom. And his whole existence in the show is just agony. And even where he ends up in Egghead here, there's nothing happy about it. For a character that himself is so positive, despite everything he went through as a child with his
I should
parents,
watch Seth's Akatsuki versus Espada video.
and himself being enslaved and them being killed in front of him with his father being murdered in front of him, still...
That's a very long fucking video. I'm not watching this. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with the scaling methods anyway. I don't know if I would actually want to watch this. I don't really agree with his scaling methods. He's working with Clyde. Why the fuck are they working together?
And even where he ends up...
Yeah, just something to watch. I don't know. I guess out of curiosity, I could check out, like, to see what is scaling, at least what Clyde... Actually, no, Clyde's up... I think Clyde, like, scales the Espada to, like, way higher tiers than even I would argue, so no. No, you're fine.
In Egghead here, there's
You're fine.
nothing happy about it.
Slice
For
the
a
Tentail's
character
legs
that
off.
himself is so positive, despite everything he went through as a
I'll
child
take the right.
with
Gotcha.
his parents and himself being enslaved
Hinata,
and then being killed in front of him with his father being murdered in front of him, still trying to find the light, still holding on to the hope of that legendary hero that will come to save them, and then trying to make a difference with the revolutionary army and saving people, and then himself still being dealt such a bad hand. There's always fingers crossed, hoping something finally goes Kuma's way, but it never does. Even when he's raising Bonnie, she's gonna die if he doesn't give over his humanity to the world government, to Vegapunk, to turn into this soulless killing machine, basically. The Pacifista program, all based around him. A weapon for the government. And he does it out of love for his daughter. But to save her, he had to abandon her.
I'm not personally speaking. I'm just listening to the video. I'm not personally speaking, and if you hear me, like, muttering some stuff underneath, Clyde starts using the star in Las Noches for scaling, even though the ceiling has been proven to be a fake sky. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, I haven't checked out any of his content since. I think, like, maybe once every few months a video of his pops up for me, and I think I checked out, like, the Madara versus Sukuna video, and I was like, yeah, Tentail's Madara definitely takes that. His videos are long, so I never bothered watching any of his stuff. I mean, my video might be as long, so I don't know if that's, like, a bad thing. I will be honest, the translation on the site you just read doesn't really imply Haki works on a specific type of immortality. The pain Gabon mentions, I think, comes from Haki attacks on Herald. We'll just wait until the official translations come out, and we'll just see then. I think it's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, I don't agree. I also the stuff you mentioned, one smart about, like, him using the sky in Las Noches from, like, the star from, like, the ceiling. I don't know, man. I might check it out on my own time. I might check out. Makes really good content. I recommend it. I'll put it like this. Everyone here has free will to do whatever the fuck they want. You're different, Eon. I watched a bunch of your videos, so I'll watch pretty much anything you upload. Oh, thank you. I don't know how to... sorry. Sometimes I don't know how to respond to, like, things that are that nice. All I can really say is thank you. For those of you that aren't aware about the whole Seth situation, I'm not gonna, like, go into it too deep here. He's essentially one of the very big, prominent, he was one of the first big, prominent Naruto power scalers back in, like, the late 2010s. Him and Swag kind of really skyrocketed with a lot of their content, especially, like, all the collaborations that they would do for, like, Dragon Ball, Naruto, so on and so forth. He had a very, Clyde, one of the guys that he's working with in the video, came out with a very big, like, 3-hour long document about, like, a lot of Seth's fucked up things that he would do on the background, a lot of things that he would say, some of the ways that he would threaten him, just some really fucked situations or whatever. Apparently Seth was also talking to a minor while being, like, I don't know how old he was, like 20, allegedly. He was talking to, like, a minor or whatever. I think he was, like, in his 20s, early 20s to, like, maybe, like, the early mid 20s. Real fuck shit on Discord or whatever. Seth, essentially was like, it basically came out that like he really hated Clyde and Swag, two of the guys that he collaborated with a lot. Clyde was the one who put him on blast. I don't know why the fuck they're working together with. I guess just bygones be bygones. I mean, free will. You can, if you want to forgive. I know some people have an issue with that. You can forgive whoever the fuck you want. If, at the end of the day, if you feel like it, I don't know. I don't know if I would personally agree with at least that sentiment, but hey, that's his choice. Do whatever the fuck he wants. You can check out his content. I don't think you can check out his content. I don't think it makes you a terrible human being for checking out his content, especially if, you weren't really aware of all the allegations prior to that. I don't think it makes you a terrible human being or anything, but, I don't think watching a single video is also going to mean like you're supporting the guy or anything. But do with that information what you will. I don't know if I'm going to check out the video. I might do it just to see like where they scale the bleach stuff at. I know that they use calcs, which I don't agree with, so I'm going to take whatever they say with like a grain of salt. I'll probably skim through it, but it's fine. It's not something allegations. Oh, he admitted to it? Oh, yeah, then that's different. I forget if he admits to it all the time. And I'm also very afraid of like not saying the word allegation, especially as a content creator, so I will specifically use the word allegations regardless, just in case I don't want to get sued. I've seen some of the shit that happens with people. I don't want to get sued personally, but if you guys are saying that they weren't allegations, like he verbatim came out of his mouth, then yeah, sure. Yeah. When it comes to like that whole thing about like getting sued by other content creators or like getting your stuff taken down, I try to be very careful. So I'll probably keep saying allegations, but if they're proven to be true, then yeah, I'll take your guys' word for it. It's likely. Oh, he admitted to it. Yeah, being weird. It's not just allegations. Okay. I ain't none to do with me, so I don't got to worry about it. I'll still watch. Yeah, I mean, if you want to watch it, like I said, if you want to watch it, you have every bit of free will. I don't judge people for watching the shit either. I'm not gonna sit here and, especially, I can't say it as a hypocrite if like, I have checked out his stuff like a year or two after like the whole incident happened. If you watch the drama alert, he admits it and then tries to justify it. I'm gonna be real with you. I did watch the drama alert. I don't remember a lot from it just because I was actually not in a flight. I was waiting for my flight when it happened, and I think I tried to watch like the rest of it towards like when I got back to New York. If you watch Seth, that's fine. I still think it's R. Kelly, but he's bad at scaling anyways. Yeah, I don't really agree with his scaling, and also it came out like, if you particularly want to watch him for the scaling, I want to make one thing clear, because I know for a fact that this came out during the time. I was mostly focused on the scaling end of it, but for the people that don't know, apparently Seth didn't really like do any of the research or the content for his videos. For a lot of his videos, he didn't really edit them, though a lot of YouTubers don't edit their videos, so they usually have somebody edit it for them, so I don't think that's like the worst thing in the world. But apparently he didn't do the scaling himself. It was more so just like he had other people do the scaling for him, and then he would just upload it on his channel with his voice. I don't think he ever really credited anybody for it, but can beat him in a debate on his scaling. Yeah, that's fine. So take that again with however you will. I never agreed with the scaling even for the groomer shit. I agreed with the scaling because I didn't do the scaling for myself, which is why I like to tell people, learn to scale for yours. It's fine to watch other people. It's fine to use their arguments, but I feel like that's a thing that you might want to only do if you're taking power scaling as casually as possible. If you want to learn how to scale for yourself, or you're interested in like learning how to scale, you can watch other people and then you can sort of pick up on how to scale from there, and then make your own metrics accordingly. There was a whole lot of Naruto versus Ichigo scan him animation. Yes, that I do think was one of the, at least again from a content creator's perspective, I think that was one of the worst things. He did a Naruto versus Ichigo, he wanted to do a Naruto versus Ichigo video. There was actually a video on it, Naruto versus Ichigo animation. There was actually an animation that apparently he was working towards. It was like $10,000 or some shit. Fuck it, we'll click on it. I don't give a shit. It was like a $10,000 animation. There was an animator in the whole thing, but apparently he just wasn't chatting with like the animator at all. He wasn't like chatting with the animator. Like they stopped kind of like conferring things with one another. It was just some real fuck shit. The guy Omar cool with him. To be honest, my theory was that they did a big scheme to get 10K out. Yeah, they never gave the people back their money. They never gave the people back their money, and I don't, if I remember right, and they don't, allegedly they didn't give the people back their money, and I do have to say allegedly. And, yeah, they never finished this animation. It looked sick as fuck. I was personally waiting for it for years. I just never put in money into it because I don't trust people to do that shit. But, yeah. I'm sorry, but me personally, Me personally, if I ever made something like this, I would definitely have like Naruto just stop Getsuga Tensho with one hand. If I was doing this as close to the series as possible, I would have Naruto stop Getsuga Tensho with one hand.
You want to see me go all out? Fine.
That nobody can beat Seth in debate. Ah. Yeah. So yeah, that was the whole animation thing for that. It was pretty cool, but hey man, listen. I don't know. Me personally, I always thought about like potentially making a Naruto versus Luffy video myself, though I wouldn't. A part of me always thought about it. I don't know if I would ever like do it like crowdsourced, just crowdfunded, just because like it is a very big thing, and I don't want to be in a situation where like, you know, if it does take a while to make, and I would try to be as open about it as possible, regardless, people would be like, where's the animation? Where's the animation? And I think like, you know, animation does take a while. I'd probably have to get like a whole team for it, but that's another thing. I always told myself, like, if I ever made an animation, I would actually try to make it as accurately as possible, but I know that upsets people when you make things accurate. Instead, some people probably want to see both characters do well. So if I ever made, like, a Naruto versus Luffy animation, I would probably just have it, both of them end with, like, a giant Bajirang gun versus the giant, six-pats, tailed beast bomb laser cannon thing that Naruto does in the Storm games. I'd probably do like a combination attack like that versus like the Bajirang gun and just have both characters just sort of end off. It doesn't matter if no one can beat him in a scale if the scaling is garbage and he's a groomer. Fair enough. Omar, who doing the animation, still raising money for Naruto versus Ichigo, and he's still cool with him. So something is up, in my opinion. I think these guys really think they're the Akatsuki. I don't know, man. I can't speak on that because I don't know anything about that. But you can do that stuff when you achieve a great milestone in the channel. I would love to do it, but I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to do it like crowdsourced. I'd probably try to actually make the money on my own. I'd probably try to like get to the point where if I can ever reach the financial level where I can fund this myself with a couple tens of thousands of dollars, I would probably try to like do it on my own. I don't want to like, I'd probably also do it in the background and I wouldn't really tell anybody. I'd just drop the video one day. I'd probably drop the video, but I probably wouldn't try to monetize it. Probably. I don't want anybody to come back later and say like, oh yeah, no, he said he wasn't going to monetize it. I'd say I probably wouldn't try to monetize it, only because it is kind of like really taking up both IPs and kind of using it for like my own thing. I know that fan animations usually don't really get hit with like copyright strikes, but with something as big as like making Naruto versus Luffy, I don't know. It might depend. I thought about it. It's like one of those like really far away dreams that like I can only hope if the channel does make it big. But like I definitely do feel like the best way to go about it is just with the own money that you can generate. Not with crowdsourced money, because when you're playing with other people's money, not even playing with it, if you're using other people's money, I feel like there's always like the issue of like people feeling like you're doing something nefarious, especially when like, you know, Seth and Omar and the whole situation happened. It's a bit fishy in and of itself. I don't know, man. A lot of people lost their money on that. I don't want to ever be put in a situation where like if things go bad, you know, people are going to be upset at me over like what happened with the money. So I'd rather just never be in that situation in the first place. That's just me though. Let's finish up this thing. Let me finish up his takes.
Doesn't give over his humanity to the world government, to Vegapunk, to turn into this soulless killing machine, basically. The Pacifista program, all based around him. A weapon for the government. And he does it out of love for his daughter. But to save her, he had to abandon her. And then she went on her own pirate journey quest. Now she's gotten the truth. Wants revenge on the 5 elders who were overseeing the program, in particular, Saturn. And Saturn becomes like our main big bad of the arc, and I think he's a really good villain. And he's not alone. There are other villains there like Rob Lucci and Kaku, whom I do think they're good villains, but I didn't like the flip-flopping so many times there. I think that was a little overdone. I get why it's there. Stussy also being there. Her role was very cool. That was quite the plot twist reveal there with her role and everything. But even though I like Rob Lucci and Kaku, like their presence there, the amount of flip-flopping I think was just a bit excessive. But in addition to their presence being there, there's also Kizaru. And Kizaru is a very interesting villain, because prior to this we'd always seen him as just like this callous, uncaring, calm, cold bad guy. Like, do I need to kill them? Fine, I suppose it would be stimulating. I am a little bored. Here I go, reluctantly killing for the sake of the government. And that's all you ever really
Well, it's
got
pretty
is the
early, but
impression
I
that
gotta
he's
go.
like,
Good night, guys.
this
Have a good one,
guy will do
Drachno.
pretty
Hope you have a
much
good one, man.
everything, and he won't feel anything. Just basically a heartless bad guy. Well, here we get a lot more fleshing out, a lot more backstory. It turns out
Bomb
he's
blast
actually
stands.
somewhat intertwined deeply with Bonnie.
This is literally the same jutsu. These are two of the using the same fucking jutsu, dude.
Saturn to kill
Naruto
Vegapunk.
runs out of
Bonnie,
KCM2 again.
he really doesn't want to. You can start to see emotion in this character. When he does ultimately kill Vegapunk, he is anything but happy. And it feels like there's almost this sense of relief when Luffy is able to actually overpower him. And he makes like the treasonous decision to feed Luffy when Luffy was, you know, out of energy, out of power, so that we can continue to fight against Saint Saturn. So we got a lot more out of him, and I thought it was really interesting, and I'm so curious to see what his motivations are. What does he want? What is his goal? What is he doing? It's so good the way a lot of these things were built up and how they were executed here so far in Egghead. This is also the arc in which we get the most exposition on the Void Century and filling in the blanks for everything that's been happening that has been a mystery to this point.
Koji
Like the
states,
Poneglyphs,
Choji
Joy Boy.
states that he would
Vegapunk
die.
gives a final message to the entire world, revealing
Naruto
so
is
much
literally
information, much to
manipulating
chagrin
the
of the
cloaks.
Five Elders, whom show up at Egghead to try and put the kibosh on the broadcast and shut everything down because they can't have these secrets getting
To
out
swat
about what's happened. in the
away
past. It's
incoming
just really satisfying
attacks.
now because it feels like we're finally starting to see the big picture. We're starting to get these breadcrumbs to follow for what it all means and what actually happened 800-900 years ago. Who is Joy Boy and everything? Who are the Five Elders in Emu? Like, what is all of this? It's so, like, it's hard to not, like, wait on bated breath for the next episode and the next big reveal.
And
Also,
shows.
one of my earlier complaints with this show, like the whole series, is that there was always this hesitation to kill someone even if their role in it had been finished, like their whole arc. Like a Arlong or someone. Like, pretty much a villain who served their purpose that I don't think we'll ever see again. The show still had a tendency to just, like, knock them out and move on. They fainted, and that's it. Never to be seen
Call out.
again.
Let's
And
see.
they did that with, like, every character, not just villains, but like any character. I
Defensively
thought
protecting your
that
okay.
they
It's
were
too much for you to
setting up
control the
a
chakra I
death
give you all at
and
once.
die
You'll wear
most
right out.
notably, like,
Plus, it
Pell,
looks like the
like,
Ten Tails
so
is charged and be
long ago.
careful,
I
you're
get with
getting
Pell,
weaker.
There was a lot of stuff going on at the time there with Pell, which maybe led for him not ultimately facing a demise there. I get that, but that's just another example that I'm pulling from. There are countless others
pain.
of characters that I thought should have died there to amplify the emotional stakes of what was being built to. With Egghead, though, no longer does it feel like there is...
Yo, this attack right here. Wait a second. This attack right here, Naruto dashing at him was slower than the speed of sound. Naruto traveling at this point has to be slower than the speed of sound. He has to be like moving at like Mach speeds. What do you think Loki could be when you see his full power? Maybe top 5? I don't even know who my top 5 is yet. I still don't know who my top 5 is. I don't have a definitive top 5 for One Piece. By the way, it takes Obito longer to teleport himself than it does for other people, so this attack right here is quantifiably slower than, like, an explosion. Obito says Naruto... He teleports himself away, which means Naruto running at him, which means tired Naruto running at him should be around Mach 10. Obito says Naruto is where? Kurama says that Manipulating all of this chakra is rapidly wearing out Naruto. Yeah. I mean, a character's being light speed doesn't also mean that, like, they're moving so fast every single second. Every single function, every single thing that they do is light speed. When people say that characters are light speed, I don't understand why, like, they have, like, this strange fascination of, like, yeah, though everything that they do, every movement, every single thing has to be light speed. I even believe this with, like, One Piece, where, like, yeah, Luffy is light speed objectively, but that doesn't mean that every single time he's running, every single time that he's trying to get to, like, the next point in an island where he's running with, like, other people, that doesn't mean that he's running at light speed. It doesn't have to be as fast as you think it is every single time. This chakra is Hashirama, the Ten Tails. Ten Tails evolves into its third state. 10 evolves into next state. And it shrieks. Oh, let me switch this up.
There's a hesitation to kill off characters. There is a lot of characters.
Fighting off Naruto charge. There's another jutsu that can stop it any better.
End game here. I just wanted to make a mention of that. No longer is that like a complaint I have with recent One Piece. They are like actively killing characters. Like,
crumbling the mountain jutsu.
One of my biggest complaints so far about Egghead, though,
amped mountain jutsu.
It actually is in the second half. Bringing all 5 elders here, I think, just kind of made them seem weaker than they are. So I like Saint Saturn as a villain. I think he's a great villain. But him actually fighting Luffy, he looks like a bitch. And I get Luffy as, you know, the new Joy Boy.
Bad news, they're planning a cataclysm. What's that? It's because he cut the link between the Ten Tails and he can't be controlled anymore. Suppose it's time to become its Jinchuriki.
But Saint Saturn as a fighter is really underwhelming. He's basically like the Derek Zoolander of the One Piece universe. He has one move.
The real fun.
Look, and it's just by throwing out his little spider legs, and that's it. He doesn't do anything besides that. Even when he's not fighting Luffy,
the Ten Tails Cataclysm.
Crew, he can't even like kill them because he's
only Ten Tails Cataclysm.
So he does. So he goes to the next thing. These insects, I won't bother with them. Like, it just makes him look like not a very
Cataclysm.
The same phenomenon happens.
Changes the weather into a lightning storm and causes floods.
Is the equivalent to that goddamn Rick and Morty butter robot whose only purpose is to serve butter. All
tornadoes
in charge. That is
and
all they show him
earthquakes at the same time.
By the way, super hype. I'm extremely excited that Elbaf is being brought into the mega mix here. Bragi Dory back in the
You can, like, okay, here's the thing. You can argue that, like, depending on, like, how high a character's speed is, that means, like, often slower actions, even if it's in, like, in the middle of combat, would be comparatively faster. As in, if running with any urgency, shouldn't he at least be light speed jogging? You don't have to argue that Luffy's light speed jogging, because if he can reach light speed at any point, he can also reach any following speed at a lower pace. You get what I'm saying? It's like, let me put it like this. Yeah. A character reaching the speed of light, let's just say, like, speed of light's like the cap right now, right? If a character reaches the speed of light, that doesn't inherently mean that their average jogging speed has to also be like massively hypersonic or like hypersonic or even Mach speed. The character can still just jog at a normal pace. The character can still just jog at a normal pace like anybody else. They can also jog at a faster pace than other people, right? Like, that entire range of speed is basically free to them. In the same way that, like, while running, even if it's not, like, at max speed, they can run at, like, massively hypersonic speeds or, like, sonic speeds or supersonic speeds or whatever the fuck sonic-ass speed you want to talk about. Light speed is simply what happens when they reach their top speed entirely, right? There's also why I've been saying that, like, and it also changes up depending on, like, what we're talking about, right? It's not just always travel speed, but it can also be, like, long-term travel speed, short-term burst speed, reaction speed, combat speed, punching speed. Like, all of these things are different kinds of speeds. I am fine fine with the idea that, like, Tsunade, for example, has light speed reaction time because she was able to kick Madara right out of the ethereal transmission jutsu. I do not believe she can kick at the speed of light. I do not believe that she can run at the speed of light, but I think that she can react to the speed of light. I think Itachi Uchiha can react to the speed of light. He reacted to Kirin, although he was still hit by it. Granted, he was also slightly blind. There are different kinds of speeds that we can talk about. Perception speed, for example, a tailed beast bomb may have a different top speed than, let's say, Naruto running on the ground as fast as possible. Does that make sense, right? It's not to say that, like, Naruto's reaction speed is the same speed as a tailed beast bomb, which is the same speed as the speed that he runs, which is the same speed, the speed that he punches, right? Like, it's not always inherently all the same thing. That's why I say that, like, One Piece characters have consistently much, much, much better reaction speed than they have the ability to move. When somebody says, well, Darui has the laser circus jutsu, that's a light speed feat, and I'm like, yes, I 100% agree. Darui does give Naruto Darui having the laser circus is a light speed feat. I've never once disagreed with that. My issue, well, I've only disagreed with if I go with the flash pillar jutsu also being about as fast as it is, but it's described as lightning. Again, different things that kind of contradict one another. My thing is here that, like, okay, I'll actually give you an example, right? I had a conversation with this dude over here, right? I'll give you this comment. The dude says, you didn't go into the data books. Maybe I don't really think he's really being shown to be the strongest of the elders. He was definitely the strongest god knight, seeing he got promoted to elder stand. Okay. So this guy right here says, you didn't even go over the data book scans that says attacks are light speed. In part 1, Haku can move at the speed of light. He doesn't move at the speed of light all the time. He can move at the speed of light through the stated data book. The next card, Naruto and Sasuke lost to Lee, who went Gate 1 against Sound Ninjas, who used sound as an attack. Lee got tagged a couple of times. Haku can get to light speed under certain circumstances. Naruto and Sasuke aren't light speed, though, as they aren't faster than Kakashi, and then so on and so forth. You see where I'm getting at, where it's like, based on, like, Kaku can travel at light speed when he is in between the ice mirrors. But that doesn't mean that Haku can just run at the speed of light, and that doesn't mean Haku throws shuriken at the speed of light. It just means Haku can move between one mirror to the other at the speed of light. It could also mean that Haku has to have light speed reaction time, since he has to be able to react to his own mirrors, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Exciting that they're there, they're having a good time, they're super powerful, and Workery, all he does is just charge and headbutt. That's it. It just makes him seem kind of lame. He's like a E-Honda player in Street Fighter 6 just spamming that one headbutt special. That is all Workery does. So, like, it just makes it feel like...
Is it really even flooding?
Really a threat. He only can do one thing, and he's not even succeeding at it. Like, he's not even doing a good job with headbutting. And that's just so underwhelming for these 5 elders, whom we have this entire time been led to believe probably the most fearsome, terrifying creatures on the fucking face of that planet. And yet here all 5 of them are just getting toyed with, really. Getting laughed at, getting blasted around. Like, they can't even stop a broadcast. Like, they can't even find the transponder snail and destroy enough things to stop it. Granted, they have to be a little careful with the Mother Flame, I get that. But they just don't look as strong as we've been led to believe, because now all 5 of them were here, still basically getting embarrassed.
That's
like,
not
so
water,
far,
that's
been a
wind.
moment where I'm actually concerned about a character because of the 5 elders' presence, because they're just not good at doing anything they aim to do here. I think it would have just been far stronger.
It's really
if it was
water,
only
okay.
Saint Saturn, who was up against everyone, the Giants, Luffy, the Straw Hat Crew, all while trying to stop Vegapunk's desperate broadcast to the rest of the world to get the truth out there. And Saint Saturn against all these odds is still making it a close fight. That
it really does cause water.
A really strong showcase for the 5 elders and how scary they can be, that one of them is able to go against all the strongest in the universe there. But the fact that all 5 show up and still can't succeed, it makes it seem like, well, Luffy will probably end up just fucking dog walking them at some point. Like, it doesn't really feel like they're as terrifyingly powerful as I thought they were now. Whereas, again, if it was just Saturn there, I'd be left thinking, like, damn, this is just one of them able to, you know, do so much across all of Egghead here. I can't even imagine what'll happen when the other 4 get involved. But now I don't have to imagine. I know what happens when the other 4 get involved. Still fucking nothing. They still can't, like, kill even, like, a giant or anything. They can't stop a broadcast. They can't do shit. Like, it just makes it feel like the five elders are just kind of weak. That's just like my main complaint so far with Egghead. It kind of took a lot of the
Watch the series with Gazelle Man, and they were clearly they were clearly chasing him. Why would anyone all the way in Wano have trouble keeping up with 200 miles per hour? Dino, didn't we already go over this? Didn't we already?
But that's
Let me
really
finish
like
this
my
up.
only major complaint about them is all. But overall, I think it's a very strong arc, and I'm really to just say it's not for you and be done with it.
All right. Since you asked, I'll give you. Since you asked, I will give you. I'll give you an idea. We gotta go back here.
That the One Piece Lightspeed meta is either inconsistent or non-existent. In Wano, there is a character called Gazelle Man who states that he can run at 200 kilometers an hour. Without context, this statement has been used to try and deny any lightspeed scaling in the story because according to some people, Zoro and Luffy couldn't catch up to him. It's not that they couldn't catch up to him, more so that they were being distracted by Batman when Gazelle Man took Tama. One of the issues with making characters extremely powerful within the context of your story is that certain situations become non-issues if the character is either too fast or too strong. Oda, as a writer, has made it clear that while he can write extremely consistent power scaling, he's also going to put the story before any real-world logic that someone would like to apply. Why didn't Luffy and Zoro immediately blitz Gazelle Man? Because if they did, then the story wouldn't move along. Because Gazelle Man took Tama, Luffy and Zoro went to Bakura Town, defeated the headliner and Yokozuna, and stole all of the food they were going to eat in order to feed the people of Okobore Town. The ruckus they caused also got them the attention of Law, who would eventually reunite Luffy with his crew, and this would all lead to his first fight against Kaido. This is why context is important when one is power scaling. Without said context, one can make either misinformed or disingenuous claims. But let's just say
Gazelle Man is an observation anti-feat.
Story-related reason as to why they didn't blitz Gazelle Man. The hierarchy of Kaido's crew is structured through strength. The stronger the pirate, the higher the position they will get in the crew. Gazelle Man is a gifter, which means he got a smile fruit, and he works directly under a headliner named Hold'em. 2 chapters after Gazelle Man takes Tama, Luffy fights his stronger superior and not only blitzes him to the point he didn't even know Luffy had taken Tama out of his lion stomach, but he gets immediately blitzed and one-shot right afterwards. The second debunk I need to talk about is in regards.
Does that explain it? Does that explain it, Dino?
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now I've been away from power scaling for a while due to me having to deal with a lot of personal stuff like my college.
Then why clearly state that he can run at 200 kilometers per hour? Because he can run at 200 kilometers per hour. Because he can literally run at 200 kilometers per hour. I don't see what the issue is. I don't know what the issue is here. Like, what's the reservation? What's the issue with him saying that he can run at 200 kilometers per hour? Not miles, by the way, kilometers.
Because as most of you know, I'm planning to make my own manga. Now after all this, I just want to say I'm fully back to be able to create content for all my Naruto fans out there. Now I've been trying to catch up with the state of power scaling since I've been gone from TikTok, and one argument caught my attention. The Sukuna versus Sakura debate. And to be honest, I'm really disappointed that this is an argument and 2025 is almost over. But it seems I still need to educate some people as to why this fight would not be close in the slightest. Now for this video, I'm going to be taking Sukuna at his absolute strongest, which is Sukuna at his fight with Gojo, and I'll be using End of War Arc Sakura. If you like video topics like this, I take video to get into the scaling. Now scaling the AP of Jujutsu Kaisen characters can get very tricky depending on how you interpret certain feats portrayed in the series, like in creation scaling. To be honest, when I watched and read Jujutsu Kaisen completely, I didn't really find any really impressive feats aside from Yuki's black hole, which personally I think no one in the verse scales to. But now after reading Jujutsu Kaisen's spin-off Modulo, there's a very interesting statement about a certain character being able to wipe out a country, being on the same level as Sukuna. Now, I don't really know how true this is, but for the sake of the argument, I will be saying Sukuna is country level. And for all the Jujutsu Kaisen glazers who think Sukuna is planetary, please don't tell me you actually believe that, because I have seen multiple people use strange world-ending statements with no context at all to scale Sukuna to planetary. As I've said multiple times, planetary statements without internal consistency within the verse are baseless. You can't go from a door-level verse to planetary unless explicitly confirmed. So no, Sukuna isn't planetary. Country level is a pretty good place to put him for now. I have been very conflicted on Jujutsu Kaisen's speed scaling for the longest time, with statements that imply Mach 3 is impressive or even that the speed of sound. But based on what I've seen from the anime, I have been convinced Jujutsu Kaisen can be scaled to lightning levels of speed due to characters like Toad.
It doesn't even align with the story. They're all the way in Wino. You said the light speed meta starts all the way back in Sabaody. Why suddenly go back to... I think you're not comprehending... Okay. You're stuck on the number. So I'm going to explain this as... No, it's not, no, the explanation... Okay. Dino, you need to understand something, and I think you need to understand something very specific, right? Let's go back... Okay, fuck. Alright. Let's talk about this real quick. Something that people need to understand about power scaling is that power scaling is always secondary to the plot. Power scaling is usually secondary to the plot. Hey, what's up, Drake? How you doing, man? Good afternoon. So, what does that mean? Gazelle Man can run at 200 kilometers an hour. Gazelle Man is not as fast or as strong as Luffy. Gazelle Man is not as fast or as strong as Zoro. He's not as fast or as strong as Doflamingo. He's not as fast or as strong as Nami. He's not as fast or as strong as anybody within the series. Something people need to understand is that when... Stopped Zoro and was outsped by Frankie? Who stopped Zoro? What impressive feat do they have? Zaren Panked. Oh, you're talking about that. When it comes to the context, again, the keyword is here, context of the story, Gazelle Man takes a little girl while Luffy and Zoro are not paying attention. They are not looking at Tama. When Gazelle Man takes her, he is already running far away. He is already out of there. If Luffy and Zoro stop Gazelle Man, if they take him out, if they do the whole blitzing thing that everyone seems to think they have to do or else they are not Lightspeed, Luffy and Zoro never go to Okobore Town. They never get Tama back. They never cause a giant ruckus, getting the attention of Kaido and Trafalgar Law. Trafalgar Law does not get to meet up with Luffy and bring him back into his crew. And Kaido doesn't show up to fuck up the entire castle of Odin and then wipes out. And then essentially Luffy doesn't go to prison and train. In order for Luffy to fight Kaido for the first time, Gazelle Man has to take Tama. Him running at 200 kilometers per hour is not a debunk. Oda, the writer of the story, has to get Tama to Okobore Town first in order for the rest of the story to progress. Sometimes a writer is going to make a scene or create a point in the story where the characters... where something happens that makes seem the characters to look a little weaker, but that innately also has the story move along. The writer is always going to make the story move along. The story needs to progress. If you are stuck on the 200 kilometers per hour, I don't know what else to tell you. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, don't know what else to tell you. Other than, deal with it. It's that simple.
OG in the fight with Megumi being able to perceive electric-like energy in slow motion. This could just be a different kind of electricity, but for the sake of the argument, I will give them this level of speed. And again, for the Jujutsu Kaisen glazers, Jujutsu Kaisen does not reach the speed of light. Please let's stop this kind of eyeballing. It makes absolutely no sense.
Why doesn't it make any sense? If you're willing to make him lightning speed, why can't you make him light speed?
And this is coming from someone who absolutely loves the series.
I don't.
So we have
you
Sukuna at
liking
country
the
level,
series has
liking
nothing to do with it. You liking this. I hate these fucking arguments, bro. That is such a fuck ass argument to make. As someone who likes Jujutsu Kaisen, it doesn't make any sense for the series to be Lightspeed. It comes from somebody who loves the series. That's not an argument. That's not reasoning. That doesn't make any sense. So oh, it's not Lightspeed. Oh, and what's the reason? I don't believe it. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm a fan of the series. Trust me. Even I wouldn't say that. Like, that's not an argument. That's not scaling. That's, if anything, JJK a Lightspeed. I think JJK is Lightspeed. Yes, I think JJK reached Lightspeed when the Sukuna, or at least reached relativistic speeds when Sukuna dodged Kashimo's EM wave attack. Especially at that close of a range. Yeah, I do believe it. No, what doesn't, okay, from a writing standpoint, it makes no sense within the context of the story. Why doesn't it make any sense? How does it not make any sense? Gazelle Man took a little girl from one town to another at 200 kilometers an hour. What doesn't make sense about it? It wouldn't make sense if Zoro and Luffy said he's too fast. No. A character that is objectively weaker and slower than Naruto and Luffy said it. How does it not make any sense? Saying from a writing standpoint it makes no sense is not a point. It makes sense from a writing standpoint. It does make sense. He took the girl over an entire village over. They didn't even catch up with him. Luffy literally stretched his arm out to go grab the lion that was already a distance away and literally pulled himself in. How does it not make any sense? I can't believe a guy like you believes in FTL JJK. I never said it's FTL. I just said it's Lightspeed. Shaking and crying right now? I mean, how else do I quantify dodging a beam, not a beam of light, dodging an EM wave at close range? A character that scales above a version of why does he scale up? Where is it stated or implied that Gazelle Man scales above pre-time skip Luffy? Where is that implied? Where is that stated? Where is it stated that Gazelle Man scales above? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand this. Where is it ever stated that this guy right here is stronger than pre-time skip Luffy? Can somebody explain that to me? Like, they clearly had to run a distance, and when Gazelle Man reaches later on, I don't have the chapters, fuck. When Gazelle Man reaches later on, he was already running a distance. He must have been tired. She said, yes! Yes, she, right there, this person, right here, this person, she said it. She can still be stronger than Luffy and also slower than him. Doesn't make sense to add a line that's specifically stating a scene at that. It doesn't have to be there. It does have to, why doesn't it have to be there? This isn't Naruto. Our author Oda gives us quantifiable statements and feats. This isn't Naruto. If you aren't used to an author giving you quantifiable feats and statements, I kind of get that, but, like, are we being serious here? So I suppose by that logic, it doesn't make sense for Frieza to only blow up the Earth in Dragon Ball Battles of God, because he should be universal since he's stronger than Universal Goku versus Beerus. I guess that just didn't make sense. Frieza should have blown up the entire galaxy. No, Frieza with that energy blast should have blown up the entire universe then, I guess. It doesn't make any sense then, right? People take things to, like, everything has to be an absolute. Nothing has to be... What about... What's ROF? Resurrection of Frieza.
Speed.
Resurrection...
Now, how strong is Sakura
Resurrection
in the
F.
Narutoverse? Scaling characters to those country levels of energy just requires said character to be stronger than the Biju,
Since when is a Biju a country level threat?
who have individual cogs that get them anywhere from island level to country level.
Ah, calcs, right, okay, sure.
Other forms of scaling include Sakura scaling over the likes of Pain, who could create a...
Sakura can't replicate this. Sakura cannot replicate this at all. Why would I just out of nowhere just believe that Sakura could do something like this? Dino, the point they're trying to get across, Dino, I'm gonna show you something. Okay. Dino, I'm gonna show you something. You see these right here? By your logic, right? let me show you something. By your logic, you see these punches? Okay. These punches, you see this weird wave-like energy? The waves that they were shooting out from their punches, that were the waves of force that were coming out from their punches, were powerful enough to potentially destroy the universe. In Dragon Ball, universes like Universe 7, where Goku and the others are from, universes like the ones that Goku are from, have heaven, the mortal realm, and hell. Right? Each of these are stated to be, in a data book, the size of a universe, which means that these waves that were going to destroy everything inside Universe 7 were going to destroy a macrocosm that is at least three times larger than an infinite time space. Right here in the Resurrection of F series, Frieza, a whole year after Goku performs that previous feat from Beerus, and Goku's base form becomes stronger. His base form becomes stronger than the one that fought Beerus that created these waves. Frieza shows up and blows up the planet. By your logic saying that, by your and One Smart's logic saying that, oh, why did they have to, why is he only running at 200 kilometers an hour? Shouldn't he scale above Luffy? By that logic, Frieza and Goku are now only planet level. Goku went from universal to planet level, even though it's stated verbatim that his base form is stronger than the one that fought Beerus. By your logic, this would be the case. That doesn't make sense, right? It makes sense that Frieza could still blow up the planet and also still be a universal threat, but he simply wanted to blow up the planet. Gazelle Man decided to run at 200 kilometers per hour. Zoro and Luffy decided not to blitz him instantly because of, again, story-related reasons. If you cannot wrap your head around that, I don't know what else to tell you. It's not a debunk. It's not an anti-feat. It is a story, narratively related reason. That is all I can tell you on that. If you don't want to believe it, I have nothing else I can tell you other than, dude, listen, somehow we were talking about Frieza. Yeah, I don't know.
The Baku Tensei at country levels of energy. Sakura in the War Arc was also stated and implied to be an equal to the likes of KCM1 Naruto and EMS Sasuke, which
reached the level of those two she kept chasing. To rescue Sasuke from darkness, to obtain power to protect the two, she strongly leant against their backs, which she had just reached. I do not think she's even, it's not an anti-feat, just bad writing. How is it bad writing? What was your logic? What bad writing? What is the bad writing in the context of the fucking part? You haven't explained to me what's bad writing about it. Why is it bad writing? What makes it bad writing? What makes it bad writing? Like, you say it's bad writing. Saying it's bad, I don't give a shit if you think it's bad writing. What makes it objectively bad writing? If you think it's bad writing, I don't care at that point. Like, if it's just your opinion, I could give two shits about what anyone's opinion is. If we're talking about interpretation at that point. But to say that it is bad writing, what's the logic there? Because I can, again, just bring up the chapters and explain once again why they do the thing. Can, to some degree, be subjective. Goku. I just found a skill that increases a 5 hit of a skill, the 5th hit of skill damage by 600%. Yeah. I know the one you're talking about. I haven't used it personally. I don't know what move to use it with. Was that saying Sakura reached a bare minimum to be on their level? Listen, I don't take this shit saying with her saying like Lady Tsunade, I finally caught up to them. I don't take that seriously. I genuinely do not think that Sakura is as strong as KCM Naruto or EMS Sasuke. There is nothing that she has done that even remotely that makes me believe she is on the same level. Nothing she's done even remotely puts that
country level quite comfortably. Now,
why is she country level? What about reaching them puts her at country level? What feat? What statement? Like her just saying, oh, I finally caught up to these two? That's her own belief. She hasn't done even half of the things that Naruto has done. Why the fuck would I sit here and believe that?
This is where the scaling gets very problematic due to Sakura's late war arc performance. Sakura was able to show relativity to the 6-path Sage Mode Naruto.
She showed relativity to 6-path Sage Mode? Yeah, no, this dude is glazing the fuck out of her.
And Rinnegan Sasuke. And for some reason, a lot of people have a problem with this, even though Sakura has more chakra than...
I need an amount of chakra to do it. It's not my time span. If I run out of chakra, I'm done for. I'll go with you.
The 6-path Sage Mode Naruto clone.
A doppelganger chakra isn't enough. How many clones did Naruto make at the time?
A lot of people have a problem with this, even though Sakura has more chakra than the 6-path Sage Mode Naruto clone.
How much chakra does a 6-path Sage Mode Naruto clone have? Because I can just argue he doesn't have a lot. What the fuck? He just doesn't have as much as the original. Clunky, what poorly executed? What was poorly executed about this? What is clunky or poorly executed about this? They are focused on one guy. The other guy took the child while they weren't looking. What's poorly executed about that? How is that scene anything you've described? Especially the execution, because he literally gets to the next guy. He's fucking exhausted. Gazelle Man is out here exhausted out of his fucking mind. And by the time that Luffy shows up to these guys, he's literally just putting them down with his eyesight and slapping them away. He's just slapping them all fucking away. Takes down the Yokozuna, walks in, creates a massive ruckus, takes down all of these guys with no issue, and then, again, hold them. Where does Sukuna stop in Naruto? He stops at Kaguya, possibly Toneri. I'd probably put him to stop around Ten Tails Modded, if I'd be honest. He probably stops around like Jubito. I'd be fine with that. I'm fine with him losing to Jubito. Like, what exactly here is an anti-feat? Because I can promise you one thing. Right here, you see how she's literally gripped inside his teeth? You see how he literally has the little girl inside of his fucking lion mouth? Yeah. All of a sudden, without even seeing Luffy move, his lion mouth has a broken tooth, bleeding out of its nose, and he's literally already taken Tama away from him. How is that poorly executed? He took the girl when they weren't watching, and as soon as his stronger and faster, I'm not gonna say faster. His stronger, what's the word here? His stronger, commanding officer blasts Luffy. He literally blitzes the girl mid-attack, and then he literally drops the girl, takes the attack head on, and then one-shots the dude. Like, what is the issue here? I don't get it. Let's then talk about, again, the thing I was saying before. What was my point from before? Oh yeah, he got Trafalgar Law's attention. He got Trafalgar Law's freaking attention. 1 second, because that was just taking forever to load. Oh, it's because I'm on Wi-Fi again. Fuck, I have to swap back. They run away, he hops on the horse. Why does Luffy need to hop on the horse if he can just blitz them away? Because Luffy wants to hop on the horse lady and simply just dash away. He doesn't need the horse lady to run away from all these people. He wants to do it. Is that bad writing? Is that an anti-feat? It's not an anti-feat, dude. You guys are just finding a reason to find every little thing and then just say, oh yeah, it's not possible, man. No context, no nothing, just it's the worst thing ever. I don't get the logic. I genuinely don't get the logic. Look at all the food they're fucking stealing and taking away from them. Look at all the food that they're giving to all these people. And then let's keep moving ahead. Let's keep moving. Do they just not have observation haki? Why does Luffy need to use observation haki against the... You realize that observation haki is something you can turn on or off. You realize observation haki is something you can turn on or off. Future site, rock, paper, scissors, SBS. Not interested. Where is it? Rock, paper, scissors. If Luffy, Kid, and Law played a game of rock, paper, scissors, who would win? Would it be Luffy because he can see into the future? This is a great question. It's true that Luffy can see into the future and could do that to win, but Luffy hates cheating, so I don't think he'd look into the future. It is optional, my guy. It is optional. It is optional. I can choose to have observation hockey active. I can choose to turn it off. It doesn't have to be something that is consistently on. As a matter of fact, we know for a fact in the Katakuri fight where he literally says observation hockey has to weaken after you have it on for a while. You can turn it on and off. Was there really no other move than plot? Yes, move the plot along. Yes, that is the only way that it happened. I'm not going to pretend that is literally what happened. I have no other explanation for you other than this. And if you don't like it, guess what? I'm going to say the same thing. Cope and cry about it. I don't know what else to tell you. It is a plot-related reason. Look at all these happy people. Look at all the people that he's happy. Oh, you see Trafalgar Law? They weren't before together, and now they're close to one another. And then what happens here? Luffy runs into his crewmates. See what I said before? Luffy meets Trafalgar Law, runs into his crewmate, and then what's going to happen soon after? He's going to run into Kaido. Every single thing that happened because the 200-kilometer ass motherfucker took that little girl is every single thing you're seeing now. All of these things happened because he took that. Definitely taking this one. All those things happened because he decided to steal that little girl. None of this would have happened if he doesn't take the little girl. If you don't like the reason that it's plot related, shit, man, I don't know what else to tell you. I genuinely have no idea what else to freaking tell you. Oh, look at this. They showed up. Bring me those children at once. There you go. There's Kaido. See? Everything I said. I don't know what else to tell you, man. And now Luffy's squaring up with Kaido. I don't know what else to say here, other than it's a plot-related reason. If you don't like that, that's a you problem. I'll say it again, that is a you problem. It's still a talking point because, I mean, I don't know, people just don't like seeing, I don't know what it is, man. You hear that One Piece is faster than Naruto. It is quantifiably faster than Naruto. So then, the only thing you can do to find... I don't know, the only thing you can do to find a anti-feed is to be, okay, but like, are we sure it's like a plot contrived reason? Yes, it is a plot contrivance reason. Pure plot contrivance. If you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you, man. I've said this before, One Piece is not a perfect series.
Who could fight Jubidar's Limbo clones, which are stated to be equal to him in all stats. So there's really no problem with this scaling.
Yes, there is problem with the scaling! You're overinflating what the bitch can do! When did she... Naruto's fighting with multiple limbo clones while the bitch got stabbed as soon as Madara thrusted his arm forward. He didn't even have to do anything other than thrust arm forward, raise shoulder. That's all he had to do. What the fuck are we talking about here? This dude, Six Path Sage 69, is so disingenuous, dude. I don't even want to say disingenuous. I don't want to say disingenuous. I think he actually believes this.
Sakura does planetary to dwarf star levels of energy, which already makes her far stronger than anything we've seen from Sukuna. Now for speed. Since the very first arc of Naruto, light speed has been quite a prevalent thing in the Naruto series, with the likes of
Alright, I'm over it.
Can Sakura survive Sukuna's domain and Mahoraga? As for Sukuna's domain, Sakura should just be able to blitz him before that happens, but even if he does activate it, the slashing attacks will not be able to hurt Sakura.
Why wouldn't they be able to hurt her?
And even if it did, Sakura has her 100 healings, and we all know how OP.
Yeah, but 100 healings doesn't heal better than fucking, what is it? Then it doesn't heal better than RCT. I can unironically argue that RCT heals better than that because it also visibly grows back limbs.
That is. If Sukuna somehow gets Mahoraga, the outcome would still be the same. Sakura would hit Mahoraga with so much force that he would incinerate and be one-shotted.
That's
so
also
in
true, Brown
conclusion,
Pants.
Sakura would win. If this was
The amount of disingenuous claims here, that I've seen, the amount of... While a point blank, the number of disingenuous claims, like she scales to 6 packs, in addition to the early Naruto Lightspeed Meta, while arguing that JJK is in Lightspeed when Sukuna dodges an EM wave, just a point blank EM wave attack that is borderline light speed with EM wave with a is insane. If people bring up the Gazelleman anti-feat, whatever you should do, bring up the Naruto moves, you get caught off guard despite being FTL. Can 100 healings also regrow limbs? Tsunade states that it can. It's never had a single feat. Never had a single feat as far as the 700 chapters of the manga. Tsunade says she can when she first used it against Orochimaru, but it never has a single feat backing it up. This is the most disingenuous ass video I have ever fucking seen. What a bad argument. Let me edit this real quick. Also saying JJK is not Lightspeed. I say this as a fan, is not an argument. Is not an argument. Wasn't she cut in half and healed from it? When did that happen? When did that happen? What, Tsunade? You're talking about Tsunade? Yeah, no, Tsunade was not healing from that shit. She was barely keeping herself alive. She needed to be physically pulled back together by somebody else. She needed somebody else to do it. It takes a massive amount of time to do so. I don't know about a massive amount of time. I'm just not going to tell you that it happened at all, because it didn't. Like, sure, I'll take Tsunade's word for it, but I'd rather a feat of it also happening. Just pull out Raptor level Sasuke and counter Gazelleman. Yeah, sure. Same earthquakes at the same time. Jesus Christ.